Hello there! From behind the yellow line, this is Trammin episode 223. My name is Kirk, and as always, I'm joined by my friend, and the world is his oyster, Christian Rainwater.
What's up, everybody? Our big thunder topic of the week is Disneyland versus the world.
With Wandering in Disney's Andrew Long.
Hello.
I don't even like oysters.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard Trammin, a Disneyland podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. As a courtesy to other passengers, we ask that there be no eating, drinking, or smoking on board. In just a few moments, we will begin our trip into the Disneyland Resort news and topic of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, this tram is ready to depart. Driver, you are clear.
Welcome back to Trammin, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We're your hosts, Andrew, Kirk, and Rain. What's up, guys? Andrew, what's up? What's up?
Not too much. It's a beautiful Southern California day. A little hot.
Yeah.
A little hot. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite, guys.
Yeah, I like to say that we don't have a guest on until we give them an episode. Or, you know, if people are filling in at something, but it's just like, I'm not just going to throw you in and be like, all right, Andrew, let's talk about, I don't know, Winnie the Pooh. Like, we can.
You don't want me to just fire off some hot takes about Winnie the Pooh all the time?
We can do Andrew's hot takes, you know, but like, it's like, you know what? We've been talking about the Walt Disney World thing and different parks, and I'm still going to do another episode that I might do during a specific period of time.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I might just call it, does Kirk even like theme parks?
That's valid.
Like, I'm guessing like Freddie and Matthew.
Yeah.
Because they're the dorkiest
I want them to
parks.
roast you, dude.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
But it's not a roast. It's, do I even like theme parks?
Speaking of hot takes, I mean, I listened back to prepare for today. I listened to your bachelor party, Rain. I listened to that episode and heard this take. Like, do you even like theme parks? You mentioned it last week too, I think. And I have a hot take, which is wild because I met you in person maybe like half an hour ago. So this isn't valid or anything. I think you like theme parks. I don't think you like planning trips. Because people don't nerd out about circle vision unless they like theme parks, I think.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right. We'll come back to that. But this is why we had Andrew. You're a world traveler, man. You have a legitimate website, like where you wanderingindisney.com.
That's right.
It's a travel blog. Is that?
Yeah, that's fair.
But there's advice, but it's not like clickbait. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, the site started almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago in December, I started it with a few people, and you know how those things go. It's, you know, people come and go, but now I mainly run it myself. My wife helps me out, edits things and stuff. But yeah, it's my site. All the photos are mine. Everything, unless they're like Disney Parks blog news, and I have to just add those in. But otherwise, yeah, all the photos are mine, and I do try to stay away from clickbait. And I honestly think, and we can get into this further another time or something, but I think theme park critique right now is kind of at a low, not because you guys do it very well. You are not afraid to state your opinions, but I think influencers maybe haven't helped things a little bit as far as theme park, and a lot of people just aren't interested in that, and I get it. Like we're a very niche community.
Yeah. People ask like, oh, why don't you make money on Tram? I'm like, it's a niche of theme parks with a niche of people who like Disneyland, which is a lot of people like Disneyland.
Sure.
But then a niche of fans of Disneyland. And then there's also a niche of just people who listen to podcasts. There aren't a lot of people like, I don't listen to podcasts. How do you do that?
Yeah. How do you listen to somebody talk for 3.5 hours about
about
Disneyland?
We're out of the ordinary. That's why the topic only thing started. But first off, amazing photos.
Thank you.
Good
amazing.
Stuff. What kind of camera do you have?
Right now I have a Nikon. I mainly use a Nikon D7500, but
Nice.
I want to upgrade soon.
A lot of times I'll Google stuff now. Like I'll Google pictures for either not inspiration, but like I need to see what this looks like, whatever. Your stuff comes up a lot. Like, and I'm like, oh, we know him. It came up during our, not keto episode. What do we call it?
the healthy livings or something like that.
I don't know, but healthy.
It's not that.
Yeah, some sort of healthy food episode. You had all the weird foods from Carthay Circle, which was like, oh, no one's taking pictures of these because all the nerds are taking pictures of a churro. Or not the nerds, just the influencers were the nerds. But yeah, you write more of like there's this, Rain and I listen to Sacred Symbols and Last Stand Media, and they always have Gene Park on there. And he writes for the Washington Post. Yeah. And they used to have a gaming section. And then eventually they were like, let's just put this in the entertainment section. So the reason I bring this up is your site seems more like this is a travel website, but the content is Disney parks mostly, and like a real take, a written written content, not just like, what's up guys, So
yeah, the goal is to be thoughtful in everything I write and take it from I really care about this place, I love to travel, but I'm sure you guys experience it. Like, you tell adults that you're going to theme parks all the time. There's probably some judgment there from certain people. But like, yeah, I mean, I treat it like anywhere else I would write about. And I mean, it started to help people because Disney theme parks have become extremely complicated in the last, 20 years. So it was a way to try to help people along, and still is. I mean, that's the goal of the content. But it's also a way to get my thoughts out about a certain place.
Yeah, yeah, it's self-expression. Like, when I'm researching certain things, I don't want to watch a video all the time. Sometimes I'm just like, can I just read this? Especially like even like video games. It's like, oh, watch the video on how to. I'm like, don't give me like the paragraph. It's fine,
Right.
And I can refer back to it and whatever. So
my interest in Disney parks kind of blossomed, I guess. Weird. Gross word.
No,
almost.
It's cool.
But when I was in college, right around there, about to finish up a decade or so ago, and Disney Tourist Blog, which is probably the biggest like Disney parks website right now that kind of does the same thing as me, was just kind of taking off, and that was a big influence. And like Lou Mangello, who did WDW Radio, had a very thoughtful podcast at the time. I don't listen anymore. I don't really know what it's like, but it was very like, we're reviewing things, we're trying to help people, but we're also going to discuss theme parks at a high level, and that's the goal. I'm not saying I do that every single post or anything, but that's the goal. So
yeah, we try to.
Yeah,
we try to get silly here and do that sometimes. Today we're going to get into all that. So let's explain our worldview with
Mousekeeping. If this is your first time here, welcome on board Trammin, a Disneyland podcast, where Kirk and I talk about the Disneyland Resort through and only through our eyes. Listen to full episodes every Wednesday or topic-only uploads on Big Thunder Thursdays. If you enjoy the show, like, subscribe, comment, and review us wherever you can, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, and of course, my favorite, YouTubes. For a visual guide of the show, follow at Trammin Podcast on Instagram, and right into the show, head to Trammin.com/ask. While you're on Trammin.com, catch up on lore, check out our recommendations, or download some more work for your personal use. If you want to chat with us on Discord, ask us how. And you can find all the zinks and lore on Trammin.com.
Yes, you can. So let's get in some news.
Dude, like you said, thick news week.
Yeah. Got some headlines for you guys. First up, no matter what anyone says, you'll always be Fastpass to me. Genie Plus to be renamed Lightning Lane MultiPass and Lightning Lane Single Pass. Genie service, Disney Genie service to remain. Okay. I don't even know where to start, but Fastpass, the alternative headline, somehow Fastpass Plus returned, but a lot of people don't even know what that is. So that was an old, not even that old system at Walt Disney World where if you book a trip, was it tickets too, or it has to be the hotels?
I think just the hotels.
What's that?
But now I think it's tickets too. No, but you answered the question I asked. Yeah. So thank you.
Like to get access to that.
Yeah. Now I think, I'm not sure, but you book like 3 fast passes in advance, like 90 days. I think it's 60 now. But that's how it used to be. That's how it is now in Walt Disney World.
It's 60 then and 7 now in advance.
Oh, it's only
Yeah, which is great. Much better than 60.
yeah, because you don't have to wake up 2 months early.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and you might not plan a trip 2 months early.
I mean, planning a group
wouldn't.
trip 60 days in advance with all the it's terrible.
Yeah, so there's some changes there. We're not going to really talk about those because it doesn't affect us. The main point here was, in so many words, Disney said there are no changes to the system in California because of the way people use it, which is their way of saying a bunch of locals show up for a day and have their little trip, which we're going to talk about this week. We're probably going to fit Genie Plus into the situation, but they're just changing the names. We texted about this a little earlier. They were probably just like, they hear and see the sentence, I hate Genie Plus. And without the plus, it's just saying, I hate Genie, which is not a good sentence. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. But I don't think it even has it doesn't have anything to do with him. It's just like, I hate Disney character.
One of the main characters Disney pushes.
They thought they were going to, I think if they only pushed Disney Genie, which is like a weird, not AI planning service. They pretend it's AI, machine learning maybe. That helps you plan your day, but no one uses it.
As an experiment, I used it once for the website. Just an awful day. By like 3 p.m., I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. So if it worked, that's a nice positive relation to Genie. It's like, oh, Genie's helping you have your most magical day. That's what he says. So they just changed the name. I gotta say, Genie Plus, bad decision because I guess they didn't realize people would hate it so much. Lightning Lane MultiPass. Lightning Lane MultiPass is a horrible name.
That's bad, dude.
Yeah, and then there was Theme Park Lore, which is their like professional posters.
Mm-hmm.
They called it Magic Pass, and I'm like, that's a better name. But I think like Magic Key and Magic Pass
are too close.
People probably call it the Magic Pass too. I have the Magic Pass, but Lightning Lane on its own is fine. Lightning Lane MultiPass is terrible.
Nasty.
And then Lightning Lane Single Pass, even worse. But individual Lightning Lane selection was also not good. That's ILS. But this is LLM, which is large language model, which is AI. It's just, it's a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. Why not just go back to Fastpass?
Because people have the expectation that Fastpass is free.
Oh, okay.
But also, like,
right.
They could have called it Max Pass because
it wasn't that
16
well known.
people know what Max Pass is.
Yeah.
And they call it maximizing your Disney day with Genie Plus.
Yeah.
But Lightning Lane MultiPass, terrible name. But point is, nothing has changed. And now the problem is everyone's going to say, did you buy Genie Plus for a couple years? So
it's a mess. It's just a mess.
Yeah. But I think they needed to kill that before people hate Genie. Because Kimmy will say, I hate that face. The specific
on the
Genie
app?
Plus face. He's so smug. And he's like, you want to pay up, don't you? So
in the long run, like, I think it's probably smart to unify them. It's a terrible name. But telling people like you get Genie Plus and then you get a Lightning Lane and then you combine them, it's confusing.
I think
it was bad. It was a bad idea from the start. They should have, if they had come out and said, and now the name is Lightning Lane MultiPass in 2021 or 22, whenever this debuted, it probably would have gone a little better, been less confusing for everybody. But I mean, there's no doubting that this is a terrible name.
Yeah, I wonder if it's also Jenny Nicholson brought this up. How people just call things what they call things.
Yeah,
people will say, do you have a Lightning Lane for that? So
wasn't that correct though?
Kind of Lightning Lane reservation, but so I think they probably heard that, and their reasoning is this is the pass that contains all the Lightning Lanes. It's the MultiPass, but like Passport would have worked, especially because tickets.
Yeah, that would have been better.
They're called daily passports, which they don't call them that anymore.
But wasn't that what the passes were? They used to be called
annual passports.
Yeah,
officially that's what they were called. It's right back there.
Yeah.
But
it's part of the reason why it was so confusing, because you got Genie Plus to get into the Lightning Lane, and like it doesn't make sense.
And then
when you explain it to someone who's never gone before, they don't know what's going on.
The other one's not included, or do I have to buy this one to buy the other one? And now this is saying multi-single. I think another problem with the Genie Plus branding, they launched it the same within the same 5 minutes as Disney Genie. I think if Disney Genie existed for a while, it's like, oh, this is Genie Plus. It helps you plan your day by giving you reservations. But, like, it doesn't work that way.
It was almost like Genie and Genie Paid.
Yeah, because PlayStation existed, and then they did PlayStation Plus. They were the first Plus.
Yeah, that's been around for forever.
And then it's like, oh, okay, I have an Apple TV. This is Apple TV Plus. It's the app. Not the best name for the service, but it's like, oh, it's on top of the thing I already know.
Yeah.
This was just like, what's the Genie? The Plus? So it is what it is. That's fine. They made the branding less cutesy. I think they don't need to trick people. We all know what it is now.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Is this another opportunity for them to raise the prices on it now that they're renaming it? What do you guys think?
I think they're good where they're at with
think they are too.
Disneyland because they have the surge and it doesn't sell out. Walt Disney World, who knows? Because some days it completely goes, right? For all the
Some
parks.
days, yeah. But so that MultiPass one is no, not the multi. What's the other one? The Walt Disney World one, where you're going to be able to get all.
it's
The same name,
Same
but
name.
you just get to book in advance at Disney
okay.
World.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think instead of Fastpass Plus was basically only booking in advance, even though you could the same day, right? But it didn't really work.
Yeah.
This is like, hey, a perk is you can get your Genie Plus early.
Yeah.
Or like, I did it.
You did it.
I didn't do it on purpose. It was just like, I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah.
So it's just a perk of it. Like, oh, if you stay here, you can book 3 lightning lanes ahead of time. But that's not what the service is predicated on. The service is you show up, you book your stuff, whatever. Yeah. So cool. I guess it'll be better when I eventually go back. All right. Next up, this is the Halloween headline because whatever, I don't know. We just have some Halloween details. Haunted Mansion Holiday will reopen with virtual queue.
Weirdest decision ever.
So apparently, rumors say the inside of Haunted Mansion is done now.
Mm-hmm.
But as Holiday, because that's what's next, which also sucks.
Yeah.
But it's done. They want to get people in a ride, but the queue's not done. So you just virtual queue them. Even though the virtual queue is the whole, you're standing in 2 lines. If people are inside of the Haunted Mansion, there's more for people to do. One, they're paying to be there. Less rides are closed. Fewer rides are closed. And there's just less people walking around outside. So
where's the line going to be?
It's virtual queue.
Right, but virtual queue, after you go virtual queue, you still queue up.
I would guess they have the one path that's leading up the gates. Maybe they can do like one or 2 switchbacks in there, and then it'd be fine.
The
It could
old
be along
lightning
that
lane
wall,
entrance.
dude.
Yeah.
And Critter Country is closing for an undisclosed amount of time.
Until Tiana's.
So I wonder, like, if Hungry Bear's closed, you can back people up all the way out there.
That's
and
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as, they can get their cookies. So, yeah. Mickey's Trick and Treat Show brings family fun entertainment. So for the first time ever, as a daily offering, there's an interactive Mickey's Trick and Treat Show with sing-along and dance-along with Mickey and Minnie at the Disney Theater. That's a new name. In Disney California Adventure Park with colorful projections, lively host as a mad scientist. So this is in the Disney Junior area.
Oh, that's called the Disney Theater?
It probably has been for a while, but I don't know.
have no idea.
I had no idea. I was about to Google it.
Yeah, that's cool. More for kids to do.
Have you guys seen this? Was this a part of Oogie Boogie and now is coming to...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've never been to Oogie Boogie. It's a blind spot.
Are you going?
I haven't decided yet. I have until like 9 a.m. tomorrow to decide.
So, yeah, this is cool for kids. So let's talk about it. Oogie Boogie Bash or Disney Halloween party tickets are on sale. So Inspire Magic Key holders had a limited presale today. I got in immediately.
Nice.
I got in 3 times and sent people links because you could. Here's the trick now, everyone. You can put your little email. It emails you a link, a coded link that will take you to that spot in the line or will take you in if you've gotten in. So RJ had 45 minutes. I was like, hey, I already got mine. Here's my link. Reyes got in, but it kicked him out. Weird stuff, but it doesn't have to be with your account.
Yeah.
You do have to log in. But the problem is you log in later if you haven't pre-logged in, so other people could take up space in the queue and then not buy. But I got in right away.
Nice.
I'm going the 20th. We were thinking the 27th because we usually go the weekend before Halloween, and now the 27th is 4 days before. But it's nah, let's just do the 20th. It's a good pre-Halloween. It is our Halloween. I know some people aren't going because it's like the same every year, but that's what we like. I mean, if they change it, that's cool too. But it's
they're going to add stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah,
right?
it's just like this is our thing that we do, so we're going.
It's good. Nice.
All Magic Key holders will be available to buy on June 26th. That's the day that this is airing. So if you're listening to this at 3 a.m. when it posts, good luck. So the way it worked, you before 8:45, log in to Disneyland.com. At 8:45, go to the special event tickets under tickets and events maybe, or parks and tickets. There's special event tickets. It should refresh into the queue. But then you're not in the queue yet. You're in a waiting room. And then the waiting room refreshes and puts you into the queue.
Oof, you lost me.
You can put your email, and then that'll tell you, here's your spot in line. You can close the window and open this link, and it'll reopen the right link. And when it's your turn, we'll send you an email. You have 10 minutes.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah. So it's cool. People, the dates are like gone pretty quickly, but I think this is better. I know, like, I have an Inspire key, so it's like some sort of like, oh, this is
really quick. Those links that you sent, did they need an Inspire key?
Yes.
Oh,
it
okay.
will ask you. So what happens is when I got in, it told me to select the pass that is buying the tickets. So my pass. But then for Kimmy, it just says guest, and you just put a name. So only one of you has to have one, but it will be linked to your account. I know I say this as like, ooh, I got it first, but it's hey, we're paying so much. They gave us an opportunity to give them even more money. So generous. But it's like, we're going to be the first ones there anyway, like psychos. Mm-hmm. Spread it out so you don't have people waiting for 12 hours, because let's be real. There are people who are not going to get it. There are people who are probably balking at the price. It's expensive. $179 for mine.
$189 if you go closer, right?
Yeah, which that's fine. But now they have a couple extra days, which will help people.
Yeah.
But I think it's not as bad. Not going sucks. But if you waited an hour and weren't able to go, it's not as bad as waiting 12 hours and you still can't go.
Yeah. 100%.
So, yeah, I think
hope they do that email thing for queues going forward, online queues.
Yeah, I think it's a good system. So it was cool. For me, of course, I'm that's not like like for me, not you. It's like I understand that I got lucky, but I think this is a better idea just because people are always going to lose. Virtual queue, some people are just not going to get it, right? So it's like it's better to know right away, All guests June 27th. So anyone, everyone, and anyone. So
cool.
May the odds be ever in your favor. So yeah, what are you thinking? What you may go, you might not. What's your hang up with it?
The price.
The price. Okay.
It's high. I'm not a huge hard ticket event fan. In the past, I did like the Magic Kingdom Halloween one that I went to quite a few years ago now. I didn't like the Christmas one at Magic Kingdom that much, and I didn't like it was called Merriest Nights here, I think.
I wish I went to that just for the Muppets.
Oh, the Muppet
I
thing.
went just for the Muppets.
Yeah.
And the Muppets were worth it, but nothing else blew me away really. So, but yeah, seeing the Muppets up on that bus singing Christmas carols was all I needed.
Yeah. So I would say if you're on the fence out there, if you like characters, here you go.
Yeah.
If you like seeing characters and throwing quips at them and them throwing quips at you, this is good. Because I will say things to these characters because you're not like, hi, nice to meet you. Like, you could tell Mother Gothel, I see a white hair, right? And then she could bark at you. And it's funny. And then you move on. You literally don't stop walking. You can meet certain characters if you want. If you just want a bunch of candy too, you could just get in the lines as much as you want. It's like your excuse. If you like being in DCA with the spooky vibes late at night, the Halloween music playing, they have special loops too. Seeing other people in costumes, dressing up yourself, just no full masks, but anything else goes, no helmets. And if you like the parade, the fireworks is now just in Disneyland. So that's not going to be part of it. There is no special, what is it called? World of Color. There is a cool walkthrough in Villains Grove. It's nothing crazy.
But that one always looks cool.
It looks cool, and that's what it is. There's no candy there either. They tell you.
Are there characters in there?
No,
it's just a walkthrough.
It's meant to be like the characters.
Like
It's
Glare or whatever.
yeah, and you see those characters except like Scar throughout the park, so it's not like they're not putting them there. It's just like
It's like a sensory experience.
it's like a sensory
Cool.
art installation.
yeah, exactly.
And as long as you know it's an art installation, it is cool.
Like a not scary farm maze, but without the scares.
Yeah, but like beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't look as cheap either. So that, and then yeah, it's just like we just like running around DCA until 1 a.m. wearing costumes, being silly, and everyone's in the mood. If you're not gonna dress up, don't go. It's weird when there's people who are in jeans.
Yeah.
Like it's actually rare. And I'm not the big dress up person, but Kimmy like turned me into that person where like
That's your guys' thing.
the costumes are usually I think I've come up with them, all of them. Kimmy has helped obviously, and like how to do them, you know. She's probably better at that than I am with like thrifting and whatever, but it's like I go all in. Like we already know what we're doing this year. So it is fun. It's a lot of fun. As long as you don't go the first couple nights, the influencers are gone because they need their content right away.
Yeah.
So you know what to do later. So like October 20th, no one's
Sweet
vlogging.
spot.
The only people vlogging are the moms on Facebook Live. They're doing it.
They do it. Yeah,
I don't
see them.
understand.
They sure do.
Yeah. So if those things are enticing you, do it. If you're just like, oh, I just want to check it out, it's expensive. You can go on some rides pretty quickly. Like I've done Guardians. It's like a 10-minute wait, maybe 20, but not really. Like you can go on some rides if you're rolling in the dough and you just want a DCA Fastpass with unlimited uses.
Well, there you go.
$179.
Yeah.
So couple exclusive food items, nothing crazy,
Yeah.
but it's fun. But you have to like, I want to have fun, spooky fun, but spooky, not scary. Like it's just like cutesy. And I was like, as soon as I posted like the first little GIF when we got the things, I saw the Oogie Boogie and the rest of the Disney Halloween. I'm like, ooh, okay. I'm like excited for this. So that's what it's for. Make your own decision. But don't forget, the later you go in the year, quote unquote, the faster the sun goes down.
Yeah.
You're going in August, sun's going down at 8 o'clock, bud.
Yeah.
So
In a costume too.
It's hot.
we got hot last year because last
Yeah.
year was unusually hot and we were there like the 21st or 22nd. So yeah. And don't be cute. Wear your New Balances and take a backpack. I tried taking a satchel. I hurt my shoulder, or my neck. Don't wear your flats and your heels. Bring shoes. You're at Disneyland. It's okay.
I wore last year just like specific Vans that had no support on them. Oh man,
No, yeah.
I was dead.
Your feet don't need to be cute.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Next headline, Downtown Fung. This is just a quote. Din Tai Fung, a global restaurant company known for the Xiaolong Bao and excellence in hospitality, is opening its first ever standalone restaurant in the downtown Disney district. The restaurant will be serving guests a limited menu for its soft opening. Rain, you said it's the whole menu.
That's the whole menu. Yeah.
While it prepares for official grand opening in July, it will be the only freestanding Din Tai Fung location built from the ground up, infused with architectural and design elements that pay homage to the company's Taiwanese heritage. They said Taiwan. Shanghai Disney?
Disney.
Shut down.
Yeah.
Coming soon for a limited time, Din Tai Fung will be releasing 2 new limited collections of brand apparel and accessories available for purchase at the downtown Disney District location while supplies last. Cool.
Yeah, I went yesterday.
Yeah.
The grand opening, I
experience?
guess. No, I guess not grand opening, soft opening.
Whatever.
And soft opening.
Yeah. It was Din Tai Fung, but it was the best Din Tai Fung I've ever had.
Why is that?
I don't know.
New.
Probably.
They're trying hard. It's like
Yeah.
when we went to Paseo, like the third day
Yeah.
it was there.
Dude, we were sitting down and Brandy's like, man, everyone is so happy to be working here. It's weird.
It's really fun to work at the opening of a restaurant.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, food was great. Drinks were great. Just very expensive, but that's Din Tai Fung.
Yeah.
It's just, it's an expensive place. So,
It's a beautiful building.
oh yeah.
I don't really care for the rest of the downtown Disney.
Architecture.
No, I mean, like it's all been very, it just feels kind of bland to me, but that building's really, really beautiful. And I think
Yeah.
that new kind of food hall area, that looks kind of fun too.
I think they're starting there where they can start fresh.
I
It's
hope
like,
so.
okay, let's just repaint everything so it's not green. It's kind of like an Art Deco thing. But I think they're like, okay, we just got to put all the new restaurants. How do you feel about the Centrico style?
It looks nice.
It's not Disney character.
No, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need it to be Disney character. It's just, it feels like a restaurant in an outdoor mall, but maybe a little nicer.
Okay.
Like Jazz Kitchen to me is the one where it's like, ugh.
Yeah, no,
the new one.
that's the worst one.
I feel
that's
like
the worst offender.
I feel
think.
like there was some weird breaking point there because Centrico looks great. The inside of Paseo is really nice.
Yeah.
Is it?
cool.
Yeah.
I think I went up for the restroom. I've only been to Centrico and Tiendita, I think is
Yeah,
the-
yeah.
I've been to both of those, but I haven't been to Paseo yet.
Yeah, I think they're just, we're getting the new Din Tai Fung. We may or may not keep the ESPN Zone building for Earl. Who knows? And then Rainforest might go. It's like, I think they'll slowly roll back towards Disneyland.
I just want something that's not so all the same. They all are less kind of off-white and just not super interesting from, at least to me, from an architecture perspective.
Yeah, it was built as one thing in the beginning.
Totally.
So, yeah, maybe over time it'll get some sort of Disney Springs treatment.
Yeah.
Like Rain said, like the Jazz Kitchen is the worst offender by far. It just robbed it of all character, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think the old one was starting to look tacky. I liked it, but I get why they changed it. They just didn't do it right.
Yeah.
But whatever. But
Coastal Kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So-
okay, we talked about Poseidon Entertainment earlier off camera. There's a lore to Disney Springs. Did you guys know this?
Disney Springs?
Yeah.
Like,
There's like an old sawmill and like this old town that
What?
it's ridiculous. You go to the Welcome Center and there's like 5 pictures of the past, but they like
Are you serious?
telegraph how they redid it and the story of the town that used to be there and why they built certain things. Watch this video.
Oh, all
I
right.
Shout out.
certainly remember like the Disney Parks blog releasing this and like
Oh, that
coming
is
up with
weird.
a backstory. And I'm like, it probably isn't needed.
Poseidon Entertainment, some videos are like, I mean, he records most of it, I'm sure, but like, like stock footage, whatever. This was
Yeah.
like, hey, look at this thing on the ground over here. Look at this picture. Look at this store. It's a great video. So the lore of Disney Springs.
I'm marking it right now.
Yeah. There's even like a vague explanation for the San Clemente outlets part of it. So. All right. And finally, in the Downtown Fung headline, July brings bubbles. There's Bubble fans. There will be even more bubbles to love this summer. The Bubbles experience at Downtown Disney District presented by Disney's Junior's Ariel. Oh, the new Ariel. Will take place from noon to 4 p.m. daily, July 1st through 31st, with a bubble moment every half hour and a DJ hosting at the Downtown Disney live stage and lawn. So fun, it says.
All right.
This
Cool.
is my nightmare. I'm coming off very pessimistic so far. I'll turn up the charm soon, but I hate bubbles.
Oh. Everyone's going to hate the word bubbles after I just said it 6 times. Noon to 4.
Stay away.
Stay clear.
No, but that's perfect. Noon to 4?
No one wants to be walking through there.
Yeah.
Before.
Who's going to Downtown Disney noon to 4 through the grass? No one.
Just Disney Junior's Ariel.
That's where it is. So there you go. Next headline, Holly Jolly halfway. I stole that. Disneyland reveals 2024 holiday outfits for Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Looks cute.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is he a postman?
He's like a postman elf.
Yeah. Okay.
When I first saw this, I thought Minnie was holding a knife.
Dude,
but
that's why
me
I was
too.
staring
All right,
at it.
All right. It's not just me. Take a sip of Holly. Oh, what's this? Oh, okay. I was like, do I need to go back for the rum chata eggnog slush? No, because the halfway to holidays this year has a frozen hot chocolate and peppermint frozen chocolate or hot chocolate drink at Wetzel's Pretzels, June 24th through 26th. That's
Okay.
it.
What's this Ghirardelli? Oh, that's a
In the
description of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all.
At Wetzel's Pretzels. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cozy Cone? Nope. All right. And we have our 4th foodie guide. No, Christian with a K, let us know which one it is. 4th of July foodie guide. How do you guys feel about the phrase happy 4th? I don't like it.
I mean,
It's Independence Day.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
it is.
Independence Day. All right.
I feel like I've come in hot and I just have no take on this.
No take.
one.
That's fine. That's fine. I get riled up about the most random things. What did I tell Jeff I hated?
Oh, what was that?
Oh, continental breakfast.
There you go.
I need your take on continental breakfast.
Okay. Can I hear yours first? I'm
I
scared.
hate it. It's an insult. It's an insult. Dude,
You hate the little muffins?
Dry bear claw.
Yeah.
Cereal in a package. Some like gross omelet station. Some like
Powdered
crusty
eggs.
toaster.
Yeah.
No. If it's free, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. My wife adores the waffle makers they have at Continental Breakfast. I don't really get it. I hope she's not listening.
That's stretching the definition of continental breakfast
Okay,
now.
that's
Because
fair.
continental breakfast, the whole point is they lay out this spread.
Yeah, you're
and then
right.
we're like, we have this thing, we have that thing. It's like you don't want to have the breakfast buffet because you're going to lose the money, but we'll give you a taste. We'll give you the waffle maker.
Okay. So you consider the waffle maker maybe just more like a hotel breakfast, like a complimentary breakfast?
Okay, it's like, does your wife like the continental breakfast or does she just like fresh waffles?
I don't think she really cares about the rest of this.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, they got the waffle maker? I'll get a waffle. Yeah, I'd get the waffle too. But when they're like, stay here, we have a continental breakfast. I'm like, no, that's not my make or break on a hotel, and it is for people. And I get it. It's rough out there. You're getting what?
I hope it's not that rough though. Like
Yeah, if you're
if you're choosing the Anaheim Desert Inn because of their continental breakfast, then I think you should probably be looking at other qualifications.
2 for $6 sausage egg McMuffins.
Used
all
to
you
be
need
2 for $5.
You know,
And then $5.50 and now $6. Come on.
I didn't know this. So there's always been a deal on 2 of those?
Yeah, heck yeah. Come on.
I don't know. I had one for the first time last year.
What? Like your childhood?
I
What
hated
happened?
breakfast sausage.
Oh no.
And there's still breakfast sausages, not good. Some of them.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's the quality varies wildly.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tried the McDonald's one, someone told me to add extra butter, and I did. I know
You can add extra butter?
No, I get home.
Oh, okay.
That thing's delicious. They dip the whole patty in butter. That's why it's good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Don't add bacon to it. The bacon costs as much as a sandwich. Yeah, and the hash brown is $3.50 now.
Except on the app.
Except
$1.
but you only get one.
Yeah.
I sacrificed the hash brown to Kimmy. I'm over the hash brown over there. But sausage egg McMuffin, it's good. It's very good.
Continental breakfast, bad.
Bad. But watch that Key and Peele sketch. No, text me first because there's a shortened version where they get rid of the whole point of it.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
So we have some sweet treats. A 4th of July apple with red, white, and blue chocolate. I'm not going to read all these because they're all the same thing. 4th of July cereal treat. What happened to the crisped rice treat? That was a staple of the foodie guide. Now they just call it cereal treat.
Yeah. No idea.
Shout out to my cousin Adam. He always listens when he's in Armenia. He's there right now. Marshmallows dipped in caramel with blue colored white chocolate. And some, I like oh, wait, is there sanding sugar on these? No, there is not.
What is that?
Like looks like sand and glitter.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well. And a 4th of July marshmallow wand. Same deal. White chocolate, caramel, marshmallow wand. Haven't had one in a while. Marshmallow wand. Tigger tail. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Black Tap has the red, white, and blue cake shake. Vanilla shake featuring a vanilla frosted rim with red, white, and blue sprinkles topped with red, white, and blue cake, whipped cream, and a cherry. I'd eat this.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Have you guys had the cake shakes?
I don't know.
I don't think I have.
I don't know if I've had one with cake on it. I've had other stuff on it, but not cake.
I've had the brownie batter one. It tastes like brownie batter.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Have you had the Portillo's cake shake?
No.
Oh, man.
Take one home, dude.
All right.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
I assume it's a cake shake still. No?
So Portillo's sells cake.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So they put
The best chocolate cake on this planet.
Okay.
They put some ice cream or the shake stuff, right? And then they put a slice of cake in the cup and then fill the rest of it with ice cream and some chocolate syrup and then blend it.
Sounds great. Yeah.
So now they have a strawberry shortcake one.
I guess so, dude.
But yeah.
They have other desserts, too. I've never tried any of them other than the chocolate
I
cake.
mean, if they have the best chocolate cake in the planet,
They
that's
do.
what you got to get.
They bake all the cakes in each restaurant every day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I got for Valentine's Day this past year.
Oh.
Just a full cake. It was great.
Good
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Highly recommend it.
Okay.
Nice little weekday date night for you. I don't know your dynamic, but
Portillo's the best.
yeah,
Love it.
it's very good. The Italian beef sandwich. All right. California churro available. Oh, okay. Black Tap is July 4th only.
America.
Yeah. California churro is July 4th through 7th. The Firecracker churro rolled in strawberry sugar, cut in half, drizzled with marshmallow fluff, sprinkled with red and blue popping candy pieces. That is
Get out of here.
Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
Firecracker, not a good name because it sounds like hot tamales.
Yeah.
Paseo.
I was thinking the popsicle, the firecracker popsicles, like the red, white, blue one.
Yeah. What are they?
I thought they're called bomb pops, or are they both? Oh,
I've never heard bomb pops before.
really?
Oh, but
Yeah.
I grew up. I didn't grow up here, so
Where'd you go?
Washington State.
I'm going to retire there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. Where?
Seattle.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds
You're
good.
gonna
Yeah.
retire in Seattle? I don't know if
yeah.
that's the retirement.
Well, outside of Seattle.
You've never seen this? Bomb pop?
No, I've never. Wow,
That's not a local thing, is it?
it probably isn't, but it might have been one of those things where, like, I only had them as a kid, and my mom always just called them like firecracker. Like,
It's like the Star Wars land
No,
thing.
you know what
Yeah.
though? Firecracker might be what Popsicle calls it, like the brand Popsicle. Let's see. Yes,
okay.
it is a slightly different shape, but that's the bomb pop. The Firecracker, unless they used to look like this and they got cheap and they just made it a triangle. Anyways, Rain, liquid IV.
That's yeah. Didn't you say you tried them and it was disgusting?
No,
I swear to
I
God.
tried the Prime,
Oh, the Prime.
and that was good.
That was good. That was good. I remember you brought it.
Yeah. My cousin Adam found Prime in Armenia. $2.70 a bottle.
Shout out to the Pauls.
No. Shout out to Paseo.
Dude, this is the most exciting thing here.
July 4th only. Reservation required. 4th of July dinner. Enjoy an upstairs view of the night sky with a prefix. No fireworks guarantee, just the night sky with a beautiful view of Santa Ana.
Yeah.
Santana.
Yeah, with a prefix meal highlighting some Paseo classics as well as some limited time offerings for the day.
I like the vagueness.
You know what? Good for them, man. Chef Carlos, shout out.
Yeah.
We know
you
him.
guys seem pretty blown away by Paseo.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
they
it's
got
very
rid of the burrito.
They short rib, right?
Yeah,
But
now-
the Centrico one is just as good.
yeah.
I mean,
but
I don't know.
So Valerie has like some viral reel about it.
Yeah.
And then she went back and she's like, it's not as good.
I loved
Maybe
it.
it's just a hit or miss.
I love it.
But that was good.
I like Centrico quite a bit.
Yeah,
so.
the upstairs drinks, not good at all. Just
Where at Centrico or
upstairs.
a Paseo? Okay.
Paseo, except for the Maya Thai. Very good. But the burrito was good if they bring it back. The octopus was good if you like octopus. The guac was guac, but it's good.
Steak tartare,
Steak tartare, best steak
okay.
tartare I've had in my entire life.
and I don't like steak tartare.
And the chicken, what's the chicken? The pollo.
Oh, is that the mom
His
one?
mom's chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called.
Don't get the enchiladas, but that thing was good. So it is very high quality food. That's a place you go like sit down and have a good time.
Centrico's espresso martini, best one I've ever had.
Wow.
If that's the same one as the one in Paseo, that one sucked.
I loved it. The whiskey one.
We didn't like it.
Really? I was flying so high on that thing, dude.
All right. Splitsville, July 4th through 7th has a Liberty lemonade, raspberry vodka, raspberry puree mixed with lemon juice, simple syrup, lemon lime soda.
Cool.
I don't know.
Hey, at least it's not sushi.
Yeah. And Wetzel's Pretzels has the Berry Bomb, frozen blended beverage topped with popping candy. This is the Bomb Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, what is the history of the Bomb Pop? Like that.
There's a YouTube video out there, dude. I'm sure.
original Bomb Pop. Okay. Why is
When
it-
something says original, they're out.
History of Bomb Pops. As a nation teetered on the edge of nuclear war, Abernethy and Merritt came up with a frozen treat to satisfy tempers everywhere. Its shape and color scheme reflected America's patriotic zeitgeist during the Cold War, and it was called Bomb Pop because it was shaped like a bomb with 6 fins. Okay. Oh, some call it Rocket Pop. But this is Wells Enterprises. Cherry lime, blue raspberry. Okay, where's Kansas City, Missouri?
Shout out to Kansas City right now.
It's a weird place, but okay. So that is all the news. Weird news week. Weird news week. But we're moving on. because it's time for You're Right, in which members of the Tram fam write in with corrections and comments just like you can at trammin.com/ask. Rain, cue up that corrections music, please. Emily from YouTube, who is now calling herself that, but I guess we call her that.
Yeah.
So, no, I like it. Emily from YouTube writes in. She wrote in last week. I missed it. Keep writing in on YouTube. I'm sorry. It's you can't copy paste on the phone. Okay. She says, I promise you, the seats in Tomorrowland Theater would get in the way of anything they try to store, and it is so slanted / on an incline, it would be unsafe to store anything there anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
We concede.
Oops.
We concede.
Stand down.
Regarding the Blueberry Smash, that was the drink we were taught to make when I purchased the mixology course for the Food and Wine this year. My parents and I each made one at a table set for 4, so my mom and I split the extra serving of bourbon. Otherwise, it would have gone to waste.
Nice.
Yeah, I like the Smash drinks.
Yeah, good stuff.
So Taylor H writes in. I wanted to write in about an interesting tidbit I read on a Reddit thread about Space Mountain loading, which pertains to why sometimes they don't load single riders when space is available. Keep in mind, this is hearsay from online cast members. That's in quotes. Supposedly, in the final check area before takeoff, that part of the track has a built-in scale which weighs the total weight of the ride vehicle. This is because if the vehicle is over a certain weight, the car will go faster than the 33 mile per hour top speed and trigger a shutdown. There have been reports of cars taking the left track after that scale area to avoid the ride shutting down. Therefore, the cast members loading the cars have to put people through a little bit of an eye test to try and not get the car over that total weight. And if they think it will, then they will not put on the single rider. I believe that's probably why people get put in strange orders sometimes. Like sometimes I get put in row 6 when row 3 for the next car is open, stuff like that. Definitely take this with a grain of salt, but I found it interesting when observing how they load people into the cars. These people must be fried after a whole shift of taking all this stuff into consideration at such a breakneck pace. This is actually true.
I've noticed something weird going on.
Yeah. So
That makes sense.
Yeah, this is real because it's happened to me. So me, a friend, and the friend's friend were getting on Space Mountain. The friend's friend, he's a large boy. He's a large boy. So they don't want to take the large person off of the ride because you're just telling them now, like, this is your fault.
Yeah.
So what they did was we were sitting behind him and they took us out. They roll up. There's little stairs next to the train. They roll those up quickly and like rip you out of the car. Like, you're going to get on the next one. Like, get out. So you literally jump out of the car onto this little platform, get down, and you stand to the side, and then they launch the car. Because the car also has to launch every 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So it does weigh the car when it gets there. And they'll pull people out, and then they'll send one with an empty seat, and then they threw us back in. Actually, no, they threw us back in line, but like they know that you're there, and they just load you on. And then they're like, all right, 2, go here. So this happens. The best story on Reddit is the Main Street gang people. You know, the
Main Street Elite?
Remember the gangs?
Disney
The
gangs?
vests?
I don't remember the gangs.
Really?
They had like a
vest
biker
people.
vest.
Okay.
So they had like clubs, and
Yeah.
then they got outlawed
Social
at
clubs.
Disney. So there was like a big group of them that like cut a bunch of people in line and whatever, and then they took the left track, and the person's like, man, they get to ride a special thing, whatever. And then he goes, and that was the day I found out that they were too heavy to ride Space Mountain. And I was like, so yeah, it does do this. This is totally real. About the single rider thing, yeah, it that could be what it is. And we're in America, weights are going up.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
I've always wondered why, like, I take the single rider line a lot. I've always wondered why, if the back row's open, they don't often put 2 single riders back there, and usually it's just like 1. Probably has something to do with it. And I think them shutting down that line, the single rider line comes and goes all the time. But I think part of that's because they use the wheelchair accessibility.
Yeah,
ramp.
they move it all the time.
Yeah,
Now
they
you
do.
line up outside and they just send in a few people.
Yep.
I haven't done it in a while, but yeah. So Taylor H, this is true. Myth
Busted.
confirmed.
Oh. All right.
Or is it plausible? That was the worst one. It was like, make a decision. All right. If there's someone out there who
Wait, so
doesn't-
is busted the wrong one?
busted is like the myth is a lie.
The
but
myth
this
is a lie.
True. So
Wait. Oh, okay.
So they would say
okay,
myth
okay.
confirmed.
Myth, okay.
But then there was plausible. Like, okay. But I'll check our email because I've missed. Couple of you out there waiting for stickers. I see you. I will get you. Don't worry. I'm hoping to ship them like as this episode airs. No emails. Cool. All right. This here's our Big Thunder topic of the week. Disneyland versus the world. So, for people who didn't hear because they're listening to the topic only, and I don't know, maybe you fast forwarded past the what's up. Andrew here from Wandering in Disney, wanderingindisney.com. Check it out.
Hey, everybody.
Wanders around the world. And I thought, okay, I wanted to compare Disneyland and Walt Disney World, but I've only seen a part of Walt Disney World. Rain has seen all of Walt Disney World. But then you go to, how many times have you been to Tokyo?
I just got back from my third time.
Okay, 3. It's more than 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, now it's a thing.
Yeah.
2
Oh, yeah.
is a return. 3 is like, you're going back
It's-
soonish, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a common occurrence.
Yeah, so I thought,
It's cheaper than going to
Right.
Disney World.
keep forgetting
or
that. I'm
even
like-
maybe Hawaii.
I was like, man, this guy's going to go back to Japan. I'm like, wait, that's not, it's still traveling, but it's not as bad as you might think,
Yeah.
right?
not at all.
I know the West Coasters just got back. They didn't do the parks, but they spent a week in Japan for, I think, less money than I spent 4 days in Walt Disney World.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I gotta go to Japan.
Yeah.
No, if I took out like the splurge that Melissa, my wife, and I did while we were in Japan, I think it was probably cheaper than what you mentioned.
I spent $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you like plane tickets still cost a lot,
Okay. Yeah.
But-
that's true.
but hotels, even Disney hotels that we stayed at, or once you get into the city, like we had some of the best meals of my life, and nothing over $40 a piece.
Jeez. Yeah. I think I was,
Most were like 20, 15.
yeah. My hotel was what, $370 a night?
Mm-hmm.
When all was said and done, which I feel like if you're saying $370 a night in Japan, you're in
Yeah.
their 4 seasons, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start with Disneyland just to kind of frame what we're trying to do here. We're going to compare what it's like. What's the difference between these parks conceptually, logistically, locals wise, travelers, the vibe. So Disneyland is a locals park. It's not necessarily a pass holders only park, although there are a lot of pass holders, but it is a locals park. That's what it was meant to be. It was just meant to be a thing that you go do with your kids. Anyone can go, and it's just like have a fun time, not away from home.
There's a lot of every couple of years.
Yeah, but it's like let's go to Disneyland. It's a hangout at the park, like something you forget to do. It's like going to a Dodger game.
Yeah.
It's more expensive, but it's like, oh, it's an outing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Especially in like 1955. I think there's probably an argument to be made that changed at some point, but it still remains at least a large portion of the crowd is local.
yeah. So okay, you wrote some points here. Are you going to go off your points, or am I introducing your points?
Oh no, I'm happy to just go off my points.
Okay, go ahead. Bring
yeah.
this up because
So you mentioned that everyone's just kind of there to hang out. I think that's totally fair and something I didn't really understand. Like I mentioned before the topic, I grew up in Seattle, would come down. I mean, as I worked more and more on the website, I came down more and more often, but it came down every 6 months, maybe at the peak of when I was coming down. Just didn't really understand like there are people sitting out for a show that starts at 9. They're sitting out there at 6.
yeah,
And it's like, did it open? And no, they're just there to hang out. They're just there to get a good spot for the show and talk to their friends. It's not really something you understand until you live here. And it's like, oh yeah, might as well go sit out by Rivers of America and look out. You might as well just go grab dinner or hop in for a ride or something.
Yeah.
It's just not something people in anywhere else in the country, even Orlando, I think, really do that much.
yeah. So yeah, you just go to hang out at the park, and it's just like going to. I think a lot of people don't realize that they're some time ago, and still, especially in like third worldist countries, there are parks with rides in them just all the time. They're just there. So in Armenia, they call it the Aiki, which just means field. But like, it's just like, oh, you just go out there. It's the fun place. It's like the park. And there was like a ride, some guy with a game, like just a few things. And there's like locals hanging out, eating some food.
Like a kid, like the carousel in Griffith Park.
That's what it is. Yeah. But imagine like one corner of the county fair.
Yeah.
Places have these little tiny parks. It's where regional theme parks started. And this was just that done like more professionally in a way, with all dressed up. So yeah, we started there, and then eventually it grew to 2 parks, but they're next to each other. I think a lot of people don't understand that.
A lot of Walt Disney World people definitely don't understand.
Yeah, there's the Esplanade. It's the piece of land between the 2 parks that can't get any smaller.
Yeah.
And you just park your car and head in, which is very LA too. You park your car, but like you park your car and you head in. But because of that, I feel like when travelers are here, they're not in travel mode. They're visiting a tourist attraction. They're doing a Disneyland trip, but unless they're from this coast, if they are from this coast, it's not a big deal or a huge deal. If they're like anywhere past the Rockies, it's like you're already doing the Walt Disney World thing. Like Texas, they're probably going to Florida. They're not coming here. So they hate it here. But yeah, it's sometimes just like a stop on the California trip.
Yeah,
right?
it seems that way. I do think, I mean, there was like 5% that on the West Coast that it's like a one-time trip or whatever. But for the most part, it does seem like people come down here. The ones that really love Disney, like the niche that we've talked about, like just buy Magic Key, even if they don't live close by. I know plenty of people in Northern California or Washington or wherever that have Magic Keys and just pop down every 2 months, 3 months, and then stay for 4 days and get their money's worth. Same thing with same things with people that come like every few years. It seems like they just buy like a 4-day ticket if this is why they're coming down, and then there's not a big rush. Whereas you buy a 5-day ticket at Disney World, there's like, still a pretty big rush.
You're like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a ton of our listeners are from Northern California.
Yeah.
Because they come here often enough to miss it, and they feel like some sort of locals. I'm trying to see. I want to get like some stats just on like recent episodes, locations. There we go. Okay. So let's go last 10 episodes. Yeah. United States cities.
Like the majority of the people in the Discord are from up north.
Yeah. So like 2% of our listens are from Seattle, Washington, 2% from Oakland, 2% from Portland, 1% from San Jose. We got some in Arizona, Salt Lake City. Who's in Utah? Shout out. Say hello. Las Vegas. That's a new one.
Hey.
But yeah, people come from around. It's like, it's not close, but you go visit, you know?
Right.
It's kind of like what Seattle is kind of to us. Like us down here, we'll just go to Seattle. We're like, it's a cool place to spend 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And we'll go eat some great food, have some great coffee, and look at some things, and then come home.
And right, Soren.
But it's also on the West Coast. And I think do you guys think there's a difference there is a difference in personality. I'm maybe trying to lead you in there, but like West Coast versus East Coast, if we're talking about the people that hop over to Disney World, opposed to the people that hop over to Disneyland, I just think there's kind of a different culture.
Yeah, it's like the SoCal vibe is extra chill, but West Coast generally is chill.
That's right.
Like Seattle, it's a little weird because it's a city. So you are meeting city people.
I mean,
right?
Seattle people, speaking for myself, we're just kind of angry a little bit too.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's a hustle and bustle, right? So, but it's also just like, I went to the neighborhoods of Seattle I went to breweries and stuff. There's just a bunch of baseball fans drinking beer in a industrial park.
Ballard?
Which is, yeah. And that's what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
Go to El Monte or Anaheim, and there's industrial parks with just breweries in them. Yeah. And we just all go hang out there, and no one really cares who anyone is. We're just we're all just here.
We're here after work watching the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it's a very chill vibe over here. Can't speak too much for Portland, but Portland is very much like it's Pacific Northwest. It's a whole vibe there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we like being out and about and walking around, especially up there. So, yeah, it's a great place to pop in quickly for us. Show up late at night. I did that the other day. I showed up at 10:40, but I'll tell that story later. Locals can't. This will come in later, but like locals who make Disneyland a part of their life are often not living in Anaheim.
Yeah.
You happen to. And
a lot of people were like, "Oh, you got your house because of Disneyland,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "No," but I mean, it's nice.
But you don't have to share what you don't want to share. But you moved to Anaheim, right?
Yeah, I live a mile away from Disneyland. We walk over all the time.
Did you move there for Disneyland? It's
a
okay
little
if you
bit.
did, yeah.
Like it wasn't the whole decision, but it played a part for sure. I mean, had a lot to do with
It's
the
nice.
website, and there were other factors, so that's why I'm being kind of wishy-washy. But
Yeah,
no,
that's
it
fine.
was
It
it was a big factor for sure.
Yeah, and but what I'm kind of trying to say is most Disneyland fans are in California.
Yeah.
And they don't move from where they're at in California to go to Disneyland more.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. We're just like, there are people who just live in the valley and have a pass and they'll just drive.
Right, we're all used to driving like an hour or two anyway. So,
Yeah, so
like, going to Disneyland is not a big deal.
Kayla, Matthew, they're all in.
They're like, yeah, I'll drive down. I'm like, you sure? They're like, yeah, I'm coming to Disneyland.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, I didn't think about this. You made this great point, the diversity point.
Yeah, I don't know how lightly I want to tread here.
Just go.
There-
Just go. Just
I mean,
you're not going to be racist. So just say it.
There's a lot more diversity in California than there is in Orlando or pick wherever, Dollywood. I don't know, whatever theme park you want to go with. There's a lot more diversity, a lot more. I mean, a lot of Mexican, a lot of Asian, a lot of everybody here, and we all seem to get along pretty well. And yeah, I think that helps. I've been thinking about this a lot. I think it helps blend into the culture of at least Anaheim and LA in total. Anaheim, it might be the culture, but LA, it's like a part of the culture, and it doesn't matter. Like you could walk around LA. I think the most common outfit you'd see is a Mickey Mouse shirt and an LA Dodgers hat, and it doesn't matter like who the person is. It could be a 50-year-old huge white guy, or it could be like a 22-year-old Mexican lady.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Spear jersey culture is huge here. Yeah, I didn't think about this, but yeah, it's Walt Disney World is very like, I think this plays into the locals versus vacation thing. Walt Disney World is like world traveler vacation spot and you American white people vacation spot.
It is apparent. Like you go here and then go there a week after, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's not always a bad thing, but sometimes it is, I think.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I think, and it's starting to bleed in here, and I don't like it, the food situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think over there's a stereotype about just Americans and uncultured food. Now, we have barbecue, all right?
That's the only thing we have.
We'll pull that out.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the food kind of...
I'm with you guys on the Regal Eagle take. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I took
Sorry,
another...
Matthew.
Yeah, I took another picture of wonderful brisket I had the other day. Man. So... over there, the food has to just appeal to the vacationers from here. But the world travelers, like, I'm going to eat American food, right? And there are the little world showcase pavilions, right? But it's like, they want to eat the hamburgers and the chicken tenders.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what we eat here. They want the giant portions, and that's fine.
Did you hear about the big scandal today?
No?
That they got rid of the waffle sandwiches in Magic Kingdom?
At the one right by the castle?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that called? Sleepy Hollow?
I think so. It was like Brooksy.
I went to Brexy once and I got sick. But it was really good.
The chicken waffle
I got
sandwich?
like the hot honey chicken or
Yeah,
whatever.
dude, that's
Yeah,
good
it was
stuff.
so good.
Yeah.
Maybe the hot honey made me sick, not the chicken. But anyways, so about the local diversity, a lot of people here try different foods. So when they introduce those foods in the park, we're like, oh, they have a banh mi. I love banh mi's. Yeah. Ooh, birria. That's like everywhere. But also, our friends are diverse and they encourage us to try other things.
I think that's fair.
Like, you know, I hate the take of like, I'm Italian, I know good pizza, right? That's always that's a meme now. But I can tell people like, hey, the shawarma is actually pretty good. It's not like, obviously it's not shaved off shawarma, but it's good. But also like, hey, the hummus in Docking Bay is legitimate.
Yeah.
And even if they get it from a container, it's still good. Like, and you go, oh, he knows. Yeah, let me try that. And you trust your friends.
Or like Gabriel saying the birria in DCA, very good.
Yeah.
When he makes a living off of selling birria. You know, like that's something to say about that.
So we have, a more diverse just culture in general with food, with celebrations. Dude, they play like, you know, Indian holiday music during festival holidays, and everyone's like, the song slaps, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just very different here. We have the local culture. It's kind of, it reflects the culture of SoCal a little bit, you know, especially DCA. Like, I think if Disney realized if they leaned into California culture instead of California travel, it would have paid off a little more, because we're like, yeah, wine country. Yeah, forests. Like, we're into it, you know? But that's only more recently. So, and the DVC lounge is opening up. The walls are down.
When do they have a date? No, right? I don't think so.
The walls are down. Looks beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where?
There's a DVC lounge in Blue Sky Cellar.
Oh,
is now Golden Vine House, which I don't like it because it sounds like a Russian person saying Golden Wine House. Okay.
Back to the food point really quick. I mean, that's DCA's best asset at this point. I you could probably argue that a little bit, but just the food in that park is really incredible. And I never realized, going back to like living not as a local, but just all the specialty menus. Disney World doesn't have that nearly as much. There is like a specialty menu for every season in Disneyland, and restaurants offering different things, and that helps make the parks more diverse in its own right. People are trying things and not afraid to try things because what you said, Kirk, like their friends tell them to, or it's just a word of mouth culture because of that local connection.
Yeah. So we'll continue talking about Disneyland as we delve into Walt Disney World. It's the Florida travel destination. So
it used to be the Keys.
Yeah,
the Florida Keys. Nobody talks about Florida Keys
anymore.
Kimmy
asked me, what are the Florida Keys?
Yeah.
People don't know what the Florida Keys are anymore.
I went there once. Didn't care for it.
Now you didn't.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Disney World was originally marketed as the Vacation Kingdom. Like, this is what they were going for. It not like Disneyland.
And I think I didn't realize that until I went. It's very travel oriented. It's like, hey, come look at all this cool stuff. Not all of it's Disney, and I guess that's started to backfire recently because people are like, "Where's Mickey?"
About to, maybe a lot more.
It's weird how it backfires both ways, where the travelers are like, "Where's Mickey Mouse?" But then we're like, "Why is Mickey Mouse in the Communicore?" You know. So yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah, I didn't know this, but people come from all over the world because they want to do the travel thing, and they get the Castle Park, as people call it, the weird Epcot Park where they can kind of travel the world in Florida, the zoo, not a zoo, but
it's not a zoo.
Yeah.
Did you hear the song?
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
It's old.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they get to see the zoo, and then they get to go to Hollywood at Hollywood Studios and take a tour. Wait, it's gone. It's Star Wars now, but they get to do their Star Wars thing. So it's just like, this is like cold take. It's not what you think. Walt Disney World is Walmart. Everything is there. You can buy your guns there. You can buy your groceries there. You can buy your gardening supplies and squirrel feed. You can buy your clothes there, your medicine. They have a bank. You can get your glasses. And the Walt Disney World is just, we have it all. What we forget is they have 2 water parks too.
Yeah.
Might be the best themed of any of the parks there.
I just watched I think there's a Poseidon video on those. He's cool. So it's your one-stop shop for your American vacation. Now, Universal Orlando is there, and people often rope that in, but you're in vacation mode. So everything there is big. Everything is big. And that's the point. So do you disagree, Andrew? Or you have a
the
point here?
Walmart take?
No, well,
Oh.
the big thing. You know what? Yeah, you could do the Walmart take. Let's go.
I'm mulling over the Walmart take. I do think that was the goal. For
Yeah.
Walt
So here's the
Disney
thing.
World.
I didn't mean it as like insult. Like, oh, it's Walmart. Like, it's just everything is there.
I mean, a
Why would
nicer
you-
way to put it is like a Target grocery or something.
Yeah, but like
don't
Target
got
doesn't
guns.
get like ridiculous. Yeah, that's the thing where it's just like Walmart for people is like you don't have to go anywhere else.
Yeah, you're right.
And
That's.
that's
I do think that was the goal. I mean, there's still like the bubble of
Yeah.
Disney World,
Yeah.
and honestly, like I probably knocked Disney World in a few minutes here, but like the bubble's kind of nice. Yeah, if
It's
you
scary
want
leaving the bubble.
a little bit,
Yeah.
but along with it, maybe being a little harder to leave the bubble. Like if you want a perfect Disney World vacation, in my eyes, it's like get up early, go do some rides, go back to the amazingly themed resort, swim in the pool, take a nap, go back for nighttime. You do that for a week, and it's a really fun vacation. And that was the goal. Like you could hop over to Disney Springs, do your shopping, go to a water park one day that you're not in a theme park, and it works. Like it still does. Even as we could probably argue if all of the parks there are successful or not. I think the product as a whole still works for a lot of people, and that's why it's still so popular. Yeah, I'll leave it there.
yeah. I think it. What was you?
Go ahead.
It feels like a theme park. Like the you are aware that it's a theme park while you're there, but is that because it's unfamiliar to me, or does it have that feel? Not like it's like Universal, like not like an insult to Universal, but like at Universal you're very clearly at a theme park. Epcot really felt that way to me, like modern Epcot. Especially like the weird booths and whatever, like the stands they had outside, like the way that they advertised the merch. It was very like, yo, you're at a theme park right now. Enjoy it. Everything's big. Like, have fun here. And
What
like,
do you think, Rain? Because you like Walt Disney World maybe more than both of us? I'm not sure.
Yeah. On the theme park take, I think that there's some magic that we're not nostalgic about.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like there's people who grew up going to Epcot, like there are people who grew up going to California Adventure.
But are you talking about people who went on their yearly vacation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the difference. Like here we have like the storybook like feel in Disneyland,
Yeah.
right? And that one is not just me, because every time people come here, they're like, it's so cozy and like everything's so like handcrafted, it looks like.
Charming.
Yeah, charming. That's the word. And I think it's like Walt Disney World was meant to keep the kids and the families busy on their vacation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, there are fewer attractions in all four resorts than R2.
It's a problem.
Yeah, but there's a million things for you to do, and that's the point. We brought up Circle Vision earlier. There's like 1,000 Circle Visions for some reason, right? There's a bunch of shows. There's like Fantasmic has a stage, not a stage, like an area with like an auditorium, but like a amphitheater.
Yeah.
So it's meant to like keep you busy, whereas Disneyland was meant to just keep you busy in a different way. Keep you busy during the day, not on your vacation.
I had a very cool interaction this past weekend. On Sunday, I'm going to talk about it, and we have it so good though. But on Sunday, I went to Club 33 with Kevin Perger from Defunctland, and
Congrats.
thanks. And Jack from Theme Park History and Keep That Car Weird. But we were standing in New Orleans Square waiting
Dude,
for
people love New Orleans Square when they're not from here.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it, but the way people talk about it when they're not from here, they're like, it's the best thing Disneyland has. I'm like,
We were just standing there. And Kevin looks at me and is like, this park is amazing. Because we look to the left and Jack Sparrow's bibbing and bobbing around, you know, being like, excuse me, mate, you know, like all this. And Kevin looks at him and he's like, is that Johnny Depp? Like, he's like, that is the most convincing Jack Sparrow I've ever seen in my life. Not like the ones we have in Orlando, which is like a random white dude with a painted mustache, you know? But it was just really cool to see somebody whose their home park is Orlando, and they just were standing in Disneyland being like, man, this place is, there's something special about this. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, I think Disneyland is the greatest creation as far as theme parks go. The way it blends together is Magic Kingdom tried to do it and does it pretty successfully just as far as like a theme goes, but blending it with characters and rides, it doesn't work as well. Yeah, I get thrown off in the notes mainly from the theme here is big.
Okay. The theme here is big as in just like they were going for big, right? The Main Street is taller. The streets are double wide. So are the sidewalks. I don't mean like the theme that like, hey, we're going to make a big theme park. You notice like everything's just huge, right? Like
I think they realized they just made everything too small in Disneyland.
But then like Matthew,
true.
Yeah, Matthew calls, especially Magic Kingdom, dyslexic Disneyland, where everything just feels a little bit off. But like, I haven't been to Magic Kingdom, so I can't really talk about it. But like Epcot, there's the big Seven Seas Lagoon. Is that what it's called? Or is that outside? That is outside.
World Showcase
World
Lagoon.
Showcase Lagoon, maybe, yeah. It's huge. It's enormous. And sometimes stuff's going on over there, right? The walkways around it are enormous. There's nothing in them. They're just monstrous.
Yeah.
Everything, like, Ricardo and I were like, oh, we'll just walk World Showcase and get some merch real quick.
Takes 20 minutes.
Oh my God, we want to die.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. So everything just takes really long, but there isn't much there either. It's like,
it feels empty.
dude,
Like, it's not as concise.
you can't blast through Disneyland. You blast through Disneyland, you miss everything. You miss windows you should be looking at, right? Where Disney World, a little bit different.
I think 2 parks in Disney World you can't blast through and get the full experience. Strangely enough, I think Epcot is one of them. Mainly if you want to experience World Showcase and go deep into the pavilions. I get what you're saying about the walkway.
I'm saying
It's
like the
totally
rest
right.
of it. You're just, there's...
Epcot's a disaster.
Yeah, like in between World Showcase and Future World or World Celebration or all the...
I don't remember. World Nature?
Okay, there are now 4... I think it's
World
actually
Nature.
4 separate things now that don't have a name together.
No,
so
they don't.
Yeah,
it's
it was
World Nature, World Celebration, World... What's the sciencey one? I don't
Discovery.
remember. Discovery. Okay.
Yeah. And
I don't remember the other.
yeah, I don't. It's not ocean or seas. That's the seas is part of World Nature, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But that used to all be Future World, I think is what it was. And now it's 4 separate places in World Showcase. But getting between the 2 distinct areas of the park, they're just like, you're just walking, dude. Like, there's the Odyssey, but like, what's over there? But
I think last week you said the phrase Epcot's identity crisis.
Yeah.
And I wrote a blog post titled that like 3 years ago. And I was laughing.
Poseidon Entertainment, he's so mad. He's so mad. He's like, Epcot, no one cares about education anymore, yada, yada, yada. Great videos. Again, this is not an insult. So
yeah, the front part of, I mean, I like Moana more than most people, I think. I thought that was a great
We forgot
addition.
about it when we went.
It's really beautiful and honestly kind of Disneyland-esque, and it's charming. It's small. It's compact. They're showing you exhibits that you can learn from. At least kids can. I mean, it's nothing really amazing that they're teaching you, but like, and the greenhouse and living with the land is incredible. The aquarium in the seas is great, but the problem is they have all these ugly things right next to them, or you have to walk through the land pavilion to get to living with the land. You have to ride that terrible Nemo ride to get to the aquarium. It's just a lot of, like you said, kind of wasted space that you're walking through. It's not concise, like Rain mentioned.
yeah, and so it's just like Disneyland has this care that has to be put into it.
Yeah.
And they can kind of get away with more over there. That Communicore Hall, it's terrible. They could just tear it down if they want to.
Yeah.
That they kind of did because they were building something.
That's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
They did kind of tear it down, and then they just built that.
Yeah, they built
put
the
up
same
4
thing.
walls.
Yeah, so
I think Animal Kingdom's the other one that is worthy of like exploring for a day. Like just
I think we were just so
every
tired.
single
yeah.
oh, that place is really hard to bear when it's over 85 degrees. Even like over 75 degrees. Like I'm just sweating buckets and spending most of the day in Nomad Lounge, which is wonderful. But there are so many beautiful paths like under the tree. The animal walking paths are better than you'll find in any zoo outside of maybe San Diego. It is a gorgeous park and so green. There's just 6 rides there. So it's not really a theme park and it's not a zoo. What is it? Just a
Yeah.
really, really well themed.
It's a
area.
thing to do on your vacation.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like it just adds variety to your vacation, which is good.
Yeah.
But it just plays more into like if you were a local, if you're not going to drink at Nomad Lounge or something, like what are you doing in Animal Kingdom?
I don't know. I do view it as, I think Animal Kingdom would be the park I'd visit most. No, Epcot. I go to
Like
World
with
Showcase
friends.
for dinner all the
Like
time.
with friends, like
Yeah.
you go meet them at Epcot. Like it would be odd to meet
You're
them
right.
in Animal Kingdom because
Especially since it closes at 6. But
Yeah.
But like I think Animal Kingdom has some of the best food of any of the Disney World parks. Satuli Canteen, like you guys mentioned.
yeah, that was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
You had no hopes for that, and we
No.
were all like,
Oh,
"These
the
are great."
bowls are pretty good.
Yeah, I wish we tried the bowls.
Tiffin's is great. Like one of the better theme park restaurants. Nomad Lounge is great.
Yeah,
I
we
love
were-
all of
Is
those.
Nomad Lounge in front of Tiffin's? Is that
They're connected.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And we were so disappointed with Yak and Yeti. And I was so high on Yak and Yeti before. It was weird.
So you guys mentioned it looked like a Chili's menu.
Yeah, it was.
Yak and Yeti is ran by Landry's, who runs like Rainforest Cafe and those kinds of. It's the only. I think it's the only restaurant inside a park.
This is why you liked it originally, Rainforest Cafe.
Love Chili's.
No shade at Chili's. I mean, I'll
No,
enjoy a
dude,
meal at Chili's.
I went to a brewery with my brother Kevin, my cousin Autumn, and we were like, I was like, guys, before we decided, I was like, I almost texted you guys, should we just go get effed up at a Chili's right now? Because it's like cheap,
Cheap to
Yeah.
do
according-
that,
like
yeah.
compared to other things. And
$10.99 for that smash burger.
oh, okay. You know, I keep saying we got to return to Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Do you know about the burger?
Of course, dude. The happy hour burger.
No, the smash burger in the menu, or not smash burger. There is a burger in the bites menu or something.
Uh-huh.
And the owner and founder of Cheesecake Factory, when he was a youngin', would save up like all his little quarters from his paper route and go to the specific burger place in like Iowa or whatever. And he was like, this burger's going on the menu. And George Motes, that burger scholar guy, you've seen him on First
Yeah.
Week Feast. He's like, that's a good burger.
What's the burger?
It's the burger. I don't know.
The Cheesecake Factory burger?
No, it's not like, okay. Factory.
Cheesecake Factory lore burger.
Yeah. Browse our menu categories. Oh boy.
It's
not a
130
glam burger.
pages.
Okay. Let's see.
There is a happy hour menu
It's
burger.
not the old fashioned burger. It's not the classic burger. It's not the Americana cheeseburger. It's not the mac and cheeseburger. See, like, it's none of these like ridiculous things.
It's not even on the menu.
No. Oh, because these are glam burgers.
Oh.
Okay. With small plates and snacks, I think is where it is. Let's see.
Shout out to the tamales.
Spring cheeseburger, spring roll. No, it's not here. Hold on. A lot of categories, dude.
You sure it's Cheesecake Factory?
It's Cheesecake Factory. Because it caught me so off
There's
guard.
30 categories.
Maybe just small plates and snacks is separate from appetizers. Roadside sliders.
Oh, it's the sliders.
Bite-sized burgers on mini buns served with grilled onions, pickles, and ketchup. It's like a thing.
What? So the sliders.
Yeah. It's
I've had them. They're good.
yeah, because
sliders.
they're replicating some like old school burger.
Huh?
Yeah. Anyways. Back to the episode. Okay. So let's see. I'm confused. Okay. I'm just checking some things. But go
I think we're kind of circling, like Disney World has these big open spaces. It's not as concise. You're walking through a lot. I also feel like it's just got that leads to less charm, like we mentioned. But I also feel like it's gotten less weird and less character over the years. Like that's happening here too, to be frank, in Disneyland, mainly because of Bob Iger, who has he's been fine for the parks overall, I think. He doesn't like anything that's not connected to corporate synergy. So like they don't know what to do with Figment. They just let him have that terrible ride, and then he's got a meet and greet now because that's what people like to do. Like they don't know how to make a ride for him because they don't know how to connect it to a movie. The Country Bears are singing Disney songs now because, like, I don't know, maybe Iger went in there. Is like, why are they singing country songs from the 70s?
They're like mildly racist too, right?
Not racist,
or sexist,
but
maybe. There was one or two.
Like
things.
they're on the edge of inappropriate.
Mildly.
You know, like a Pixar movie always has like that weird scene or two in it that makes it kind of a Pixar movie. That's what the Country Bears were. They were just that weird scene in a movie, and Magic Kingdom really needed that because it's kind of just a straightforward castle park otherwise. And I feel like a lot of Walt Disney World, especially Disneyland, maybe a little bit, but Walt Disney World especially is losing some of that.
Yeah, it feels very, they just put a bunch of things there, right? Like, just here's the thing for you to do. Here's the next thing for you to do. Like here's the thing you recognize. It's like plot.
Remember this movie?
Yeah. Very. I don't want to say corporate and soulless. That's too much.
It is, but it is corporate. Like the corporate synergy is such a huge thing in the last 10 years.
Yeah, like Universal, just like here's the Despicable Me section, and then like here's Mario. He's next to Jurassic Park. Like it's a land, but it's like, this is the lower lot. Jurassic Park next to Transformers. I'm like, okay. And that's fine for Universal. It's the movie park. I get it. Yeah. But like Disney to us is not that. But I guess over there it is. But people who don't care about parks, they don't care. They think it's great. It's more popular than ever. It's busier
Which is the majority of people.
Yeah. And most people are like, it is a great vacation destination. Why wouldn't you want to see Stitch and the Monsters Inc. laugh floor and like whatever, you know?
And in totality, like Disney World is what you're describing. When you view each park as their own thing, I think it's probably better. Like it's easier to get there. But doing that each day, it's like Animal Kingdom is a highly themed environment that you're going into. Epcot is a jumping off point to visit the rest of the world and see how it works, hopefully. Magic Kingdom is a replica, but bigger Disneyland. Like they're all their own thing, and they all succeed to varying degrees at this point. But when they were open, when they opened up, rather, they were going for something different between the four of them. But viewing them all in totality, maybe it's even a little bit unfair, just because like each park has their own identity.
Yeah.
It's just a little hard to get there right now because their identity isn't as successfully told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think Magic Kingdom's size to me feels like, and I guess it's just true because Disneyland does have this, but it feels like a city. You ever been to those really flat cities with no trees in them? And you're like, this is weird. Like Downey, you know, it's just open. I know it's really hyper specific, Downey.
Yeah.
But like, but then you go to a place like Fullerton or whatever, and there's trees around. There's like some cover. There's things close together, like Laguna Beach. Even that's like a really like obvious thing, but it's like all these buildings are like really quirky. They were built 1 million years ago when there wasn't this cohesive plan, and it's like this has its individual charm. So yeah, but let's move away from the vacational. Oh, this is part of the weirdness of the vacation. Like, okay, first off, it's a high stakes, once in a lifetime trip, and
I think that leads to people being a little more possessive of their vacation.
Are
and
they that bad? Like,
I've had some bad experiences.
Yeah. I think it is. I think it's pretty bad. Also, the heat doesn't help.
No, not at all. And like by and large, people are pretty nice, and I've had great experiences too. But I think you're more likely to run into someone being pretty upset there than you are at Disneyland.
I think it's pretty telling with the amount of people who are in scooters.
Yep.
Yeah, like the mentality of renting a scooter, even necessarily not when you need it, in Walt Disney World is more of like, well, I'm paying so much money to be here, I should be getting the best experience, no matter if that's going to make somebody else's experience worse, etc. You know, I'm just kind of ranting, but it's I see a lot of scooters there.
Yes.
A lot of scooters.
Great point.
So let's talk about the locals culture there. I am only exposed to this through Instagram.
Mhm.
But the locals in Orlando are weird. There's something weird about them. And
I'm friends with a few.
but are they influencers?
No.
Okay.
Like David. I was just talking to him today from Eagermeister.
Is he weird?
He's a weird dude. That guy's a weird dude. And he lives almost across the street from Disney Springs.
So, but I don't mean like that's his shtick, right?
What?
Weird stuff.
I mean, he works for Jaeger, has been on tour with metal bands
This
for
is what I'm saying.
30 years.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's like a quirky. That's an eccentric personality.
Yes.
I mean, Florida
That's-
people are just a weird
Yeah.
brand.
But what
anyway.
I'm saying is like, it feels like the locals at Walt Disney World are trying to convince you that it's really cool for locals or something. Like because they're influencers too, they post like, they're like, look how great Orlando is. Go to this cool restaurant. Look at this cool thing you can do with your friends. And it's like, no, listen, Orlando's there because Walt Disney World's there. That's the whole point.
Do you feel like this is like trying to convince you, or just like a pride they have? Is there a difference there?
A lot of people move there just to go to Disney World,
It's true.
which is odd. It's not odd when someone like who is going to move to California anyway is like, okay, I'll go to Anaheim. You're not. If Disneyland was in Bakersfield and someone just moved to Bakersfield, be like, what are you doing there? There's nothing else there, right? There's just Disneyland.
Right.
You move to Anaheim, it's like, look, Irvine's next door. LA, I know there's traffic, but LA's right up there. Hollywood, the Valley, even San Diego is not. It's people day trip in San Diego. I've done it. It's not that big of a deal. So, but in Orlando, it's just like almost like I need to convince you I didn't make a bad decision by moving here. Like, look, I have a whole life in Orlando.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just Disney World.
I would like to ask David why he moved there. I don't know why. He's a Disney fan, but he's like, screw this new administration in Disney. Like, I hate all these guys, but
Well, okay, it's a lot of people who make it big not out of nowhere, but like come into money. They just move there because it's so cheap.
Well,
that might be it.
If you're an influencer or writer or podcaster or whatever, it's cheaper. There are 4 parks there. You have more content to make. There's Universal right there.
Yeah, you
There's
take that
just,
SeaWorld money and go to their late night events.
right. There's just more to cover, more content. I mean, every big Disney site outside of maybe like Disney Tourist Blog operates out of there. But you think of like WDW&T, WDW Magic. There's every news site without extra commentary is based out of Orlando because it's just easier to cover there, I think.
Yeah, there's always something going on.
Yeah.
And you get bored of one thing, you go to the other.
Yeah.
Whereas like here, you would have to be the LA travel site because there's so much to do here unless you're hyper focused on Disney. Because
Yeah.
like,
I mean, you could cover Universal, Hollywood, Knott's, and the 2 Disney parks, but I mean, that's 4 and nothing's happening in Knott's usually. And Universal is one of the strangest theme parks in the world, and Hollywood. And it'd just be hard to make it all
like,
work, to
when
constantly have something.
when people try to like, okay, there's this really specific thing I've gotten wind of. Have you guys seen Inland Empire influencers?
No.
Yes.
They're like the best burger in the IE or in the
Yeah.
Riverside. And I'm like,
Yes.
that's cool, dude.
But you got to go to the IE.
Yeah. You know what though? I don't want to like poo-poo them too much. It's probably just for people who live there.
Yeah.
But it bleeds out into here and it's a little odd, right? So, how did I get here? Universal. Oh, but it's like when people are like trying to influence for Knott's, it's like comes off as like try hardish. It's like, dude, we all know what Knott's is, and Knott's is doing fine. Like,
Are they though? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. They go back and forth, I feel.
I'm at Knott's all the time, but I'm not sure. It's not I'm not sure it's doing well, but yeah.
Is it doing? I feel like it's doing what it's
fine.
trying to do. Like,
Yeah.
it's just there.
Yeah, I'm just not sure they have any money.
That's always been the case with
Yeah,
Knott's, right?
has it? I
Yeah,
think.
they-
But like they announce a project and then like half of it comes to fruition and it's like,
They've been bankrupt a few times. They've
Yeah.
been bought multiple times. It's,
Not Scary Farm is cool. I
Yeah,
don't.
it's
I don't
so-
like to be scared, but like that's a theme park thing.
it's so weird how that's so successful.
Yeah.
I think they
Not
just
Scary Farm.
yeah,
It's a thing. Like it's a.
that's so successful, but like Knott's isn't.
Well, they do a great job. Knott's knows what it is, and I applaud them for like always having live entertainment. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
And sorry, we're going down this track. And like Knott's Scary Farm is way different than Horror Nights. Like they're telling original stories in their mazes, which is super cool.
Mhm.
Really hard to do. Maybe they don't all work, but like they try, and
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. It's like Americana art, except half the park doesn't quite understand that. But like Old Town and or is it called Old Town? I think so. But that
Calico,
the Western,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that part kind of works.
Ghost Town.
Ghost Town. Thank you. And like they know what they are, like you said.
So the locals in Orlando. So I wrote, no one knows what good food is. There was, listen,
It was the mini corn dog.
the
thing.
mini corn dog week,
Yeah.
dude. They brought back mini corn dogs. And a bunch of them, they're like, they're back. The best way to get mini corn dogs quickly at Casey's. And I'm like, what? Wiener Schnitzel had mini corn dogs in a bag my whole life. That like, they're just, it's not a big, and I know they're the same ones. I know that
They
there's
look
one
identical.
company that just makes all the mini corn dogs in the world and you just buy them and they're good. But like, you can make them.
But-
They're not dipping them and frying them.
No,
No,
they are.
That's the thing. And no one's doing that with mini corn dogs, and that's okay. But I'm like, I know I'm really hung up on this, but like, that was just half the time they're just like, look at this wonderful thing.
Well, that's the content thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they cover.
But-
That I have a specific side of mine that I'm not going to say, but that's what they do. They like cover mini corn dogs coming back on a menu, and it's
It's
Yeah.
just, I think the locals there just try to do a thing, and I guess like that's fine for them. I think it's just because we're exposed to it and them trying to expose us to it, it feels very inauthentic. Where like the true Disneyland locals aren't being like influencers. Not like we all had Tumblrs, websites, podcasts, not like that. Like influencers. You guys know the type.
The Loungefly.
The Loungefly people.
Yeah.
So the locals here, they just go to Disneyland. You don't even know, like, okay, like I'll come across people and be like, oh, something Lego store downtown Disney. Oh, I used to go there a lot before I had kids. Oh yeah, and they're like around my age, and they'll be like, oh yeah, like I used to have a pass and just go alone all the time. But no one knew that. That just came up in a conversation because that's just what we do.
Yeah.
Right. But over there, just like this, it has to be your identity over there because what else are you doing in Orlando? And it's just odd. And it's okay for it to be a vacation destination. Like that is what it is. It's what Orlando is. You hear Orlando and you think vacation. You think Universal Studios. You think Disney. I didn't even realize SeaWorld was there. But like Orlando was always like, you see the commercials, like go to Orlando and have a vacation.
And for some reason, a business destination for conventions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of conventions
because
in
you can
Orlando.
go to all these things after.
Because it's like partly a vacation.
All the planes are flying there for the vacation. So it's like, oh, may as well. There's a million hotels.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a little off season.
They have a
like-
big convention center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a swamp.
Yeah.
You could build the biggest thing in the world there and no one will notice. Like, I really did not realize how big Walt Disney World is, especially like when I got to my hotel room, I was like up on the top floor and I'm like, oh, there's like miles of trees before Animal Kingdom. I'm like, why did they put it so far? I don't think they had to do that. I think they were just like, what if we build 10 more of these? Or want to make each one 5 times bigger than it already is, which is possible. Epcot has 2 entrances, which is also crazy to me.
Mhm.
Like, it's strange, and that's fine, but like, it's just huge there. But yeah, I feel like I've said for now, this isn't my. Oh, okay. Do we want to talk about the Kirk theme park thing? You had some theories.
I mean, I mainly got it out.
Yeah.
But I do think you like theme parks.
But I don't. Last time I went to Universal, I was just like,
Universal Hollywood?
yeah.
Yeah. Some theme parks are amusement parks, just dressed up a little more.
Okay.
I love the tram tour. There are parts of Universal I like. Like, have you been to Mario World?
No, but I'm like not a big Mario
Yeah.
guy.
I
I
mean,
like video.
it's
I play
cool.
games like you.
It looks cool.
I mean, you walked in here. There's like Amiibo. Half of the stuff back here is video games.
But you've never been a big Nintendo guy, right?
I've always like thought it was awesome and envied people who had Nintendo.
Yeah.
And like I've had Game Boys and like Mario and Link. They're like amazing. But like I've never thought I want to step in the world of Mario.
Right.
You know. And it looked very cheap to me.
Yeah. There are parts of it that look cheap.
It looks
for sure.
Yeah, it looks plasticky.
I remember when I first went, I talked about it here. The reason why I liked Super Nintendo World so much, but that's what's called it, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Is not because I love Mario so much. It's because I realize that there are people out there that care about video games now.
Mm.
Yeah, where it's like they're willing to spend the money on video game lands. And I felt like that was for me.
Yeah.
So I got pretty emotional when I stepped in because of that thought process.
For sure. And I mean, it is pretty immersive to their
Yeah.
credit. There are things wrong with it for sure, but it is immersive and it looks like you stepped into the game, and it's cool that they did all the seasons and all of that.
Like I just I've been watching a lot of her videos. Jenny Nicholson. She just put it out. She put out that Avatar, the Pandora video a long time
I did
ago.
watch that one.
Okay. And she was saying that if Disney would have actually done something that, you know, millennials with disposable income want to do now, the better option instead of going with Avatar would have been Pokemon.
Yeah.
We would have lost it. We would have lost if they would have put a Pokemon part of a Disney park.
But I think the one thing that's missing from Pandora would also be missing from the Pokemon park. You
It's
wouldn't have
Pokemon.
You wouldn't have Pokemon running around.
Yeah.
That's why we like Pokemon, because of the Pokemon.
Yeah.
We don't care about Ash, Misty, and Brock. Like we do, but I don't care to meet them.
That's true. That's true.
And you don't want to meet the costume Pikachu. You want to see, like, the dream has always been the open world Pokemon game. You see like 3 Pikachus running across the field. You're not getting that at a theme park, right? So what is the world of Pokemon? There isn't a world of Pokemon.
That's true. That's
the
true.
cities
Now
are
that you put
little
that-
sprites, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they're very cute, but you can't be there unless you're in there in like VR or something. But like Oak's Lab would be a terrible building in a theme park, right?
It's just
So
This is
convert a
my-
warehouse.
This is my biggest worry with like the immersive theme park lands that everyone's going to. It's that they don't all Toy Story Land's a pretty good example. They don't always think like, do people actually want to go to Andy's backyard? It's like,
I've never thought about
Sure.
Andy's backyard
Yeah.
for a single second of my life.
exactly. And so you end up with this space that like it looks fine. And it has some decent rides, but like no one wants to go. Like, Galaxy's Edge has its problems, but to its credit, like it looks great.
Yeah.
Fun to hang out in, fun to walk through.
But like we wanted to go to Endor, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
wanted to go to Tatooine.
Yeah.
Like,
But eventually you run out of immersive places from movies that people actually want to go to instead of immersive places from movies that would be like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to run into that problem. in
yeah,
theme
we've talked
parks.
about Lord of the Rings before.
Yeah.
Where we'd want to go to Hobbiton.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you can't, there are no rides in Hobbiton.
Yeah.
And we want to go to Rivendell.
Yep.
But like, you don't want to go to Middle Earth. Middle Earth sucks, man. Like, it's
That's right.
you don't want to be there.
I'd like to see Mordor, you
Yeah.
know, but I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Just put it in the distance.
Well, okay.
Back-
What?
Oh, sorry.
No.
Back to your question.
I'm going to move on. So
Oh, okay.
do your thing. Yeah.
In I think it was your last episode, you started talking about how like Disneyland explains everything. Like there was like Edelweiss snacks. Great example.
Oh, yeah.
We don't like maybe Epcot would just have a card out.
Yeah.
And
With
it
no
just-
name or
Yeah. But Edelweiss snacks feels the need to explain why it's there. And I feel like that's a very theme park thing. I think not having that is a fault in design for the most part. So that's why, I mean, that plus the Circle Vision comment, plus a few others where it's like, No, I do think you like theme parks. I think the things that aren't well themed or fit into the story might frustrate you. Plus the planning, the hugeness of Disney World, like we've talked about. I think that might be a possible answer without really knowing you.
I think it's like, I'm very interested in Disneyland.
Yeah.
And the history of Disneyland, and part of the history of Disneyland, and the history of like Walt. I'm not one of those Walt people.
The Walt lovers.
Yeah, I think he's great. No, nothing like that. But like people like Walt Disney's my idol. Like it's okay. Yeah, he did a really cool thing, and I think he's great. You know, everyone has their shortcomings. I don't want to hear it. But Walt Disney worked on Circle Vision. It was like one of his things.
Right.
So I was like really interested in that, and we used to have it here, and I was never able to experience it. The People Mover in Walt Disney World.
Sure.
It's not like, oh, it's this wonderful theme park thing. It's like, oh, this is my consolation prize for not having a People Mover here. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah, like the reason I was originally interested in Epcot was all the weird stuff from original Epcot.
Yeah.
But it's mostly gone.
It is.
So I don't have attachment to this current. I don't have attachment to old Epcot, but there was this like Disney history. It was there and now it's gone or it's going away feel.
Yeah.
Of like, but then, you know, I don't yearn for Test Track.
No.
But I would yearn
Does
for World
anyone?
of Motion.
Sure.
Because it's
No, I'm
so
with you.
weird. But
Uh-huh.
it's weird Disney, but not like theme park design generally. Like Epic Universe with the 2 coasters, or it's like, oh, it launches and there's 2 of them and they do this. I'm like, I don't really care about that kind of thing that much.
Yeah.
Because it's just a thing. And that's cool, but whatever. But I'm interested in a new thing at Disneyland because it's this place I'm familiar with and there's a new thing there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
So I'm very like Disneyland, Disney history, DCA, because it's there. Like I grew up with it and it's something I've known. And I'm not like Matthew did you listen to last week?
I got like an hour and a half in. Then
So Matthew was like, oh, you just like familiar things. I'm like, I don't like familiar things. I love new things.
Yeah.
Like, new
I
food,
did
new everything.
get to
Yeah.
that
That
part,
was
yeah.
in the beginning.
Travel too?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
I could go to Seattle again, but I'd rather go to Vancouver because I haven't been there. You know?
Vancouver's great.
And then after I go to Vancouver, I'm sure I'll love it.
Yeah.
But I'll go to Toronto because I haven't been in Toronto. And then it's like, oh, well, you go up north there again. It's like, but what about Maine? All right. What about like Minneapolis? I love New York, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to waste a trip on New York if I can go to Chicago because I haven't been to Chicago. You know what I mean?
When like me, I'll go to the same place over and over.
Yeah.
Because I'm familiar with it. Like,
Yeah, like-
it's comfort food for me.
Yeah. I'll try the stupid new milkshake. I'll try the stupid new. It might be bad, but I get to try it. It's something new for me.
And then I'll go get the corn dog every time.
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's fine. But we were talking about the reasons for things, right? Things having reason and purpose. So I feel like this is where Tokyo, as an outsider, I feel like this is where Tokyo Disney comes in. Now they have a Tokyo Disneyland, or is it Disneyland Tokyo?
No, you had it right. the
Tokyo
first time.
Disneyland.
Uh-huh.
They have that. It's mostly just Disneyland, right?
Yeah. There's some Magic Kingdom influence for sure too. The castle's bigger.
Which castle do they have?
They have the Magic Kingdom
They have
castle.
Cinderella. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I
And
was
then-
getting mixed up.
And their Main Street is that enclosed one, right? Or is that in
Yeah,
city?
it's an arcade by arcade actual definition. It's
Yeah.
just covered, glass roof, and they actually call it World Bazaar because Main Street's not a thing in Japan. Like a main street is not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They have, let's see, Tokyo Disneyland probably has 4, 5 unique rides that are all theirs, including a new Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast, which is an incredible dark ride, trackless. They also have a Winnie the Pooh dark ride, which is
That's Honey Hunt, right?
Honey Hunt. Yeah, it is one
First
of the,
trackless ride.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best rides in the world for sure. A Monsters Inc. dark ride in Tomorrowland, and then a few other things. They have the Country Bears. I'm a huge Country Bears fan, if you couldn't tell. They have the Country Bears playing all three versions of. So in the summer they have a different version, and in the winter they have a different version. I don't know. Tokyo Disneyland is a weirdo Disneyland in the best possible way. The pathways are bigger because they have crowds there, but like it feels more personal to me than Magic Kingdom does. Maybe I don't think it probably feels as charming as Disneyland, but it makes improvements where it can. I think
from like the vibe there seems. Listen to this word closely, okay? It seems very ornamental. There's all these little tiny.
I was wondering why you had to preface that, dude.
There's all these little tiny touches that like bring things together, like this attention to detail, this care.
Story is incredible. I mean, it's not operated by Disney.
Yeah.
It's not owned by Disney. Disney's a creative partner, and I'm sure they have some creative control.
There's some weird 49% some like I think controlling share of something. It's very weird.
Like Tokyo Disneyland calls their free Fastpass priority pass now, and I'm sure that's because Disney didn't want them to call it Fastpass. That's just a little aside.
Yeah, they like the IP Disney has some sort of say over.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird, but
like Imagineering still works there and everything, but the budget is not run by Disney, and that is noticeable. There is story everywhere. There are like we talked about with like Edelweiss as a example, or any number of Disneyland things that feel like they need to connect. That's all throughout Tokyo Disneyland for sure. It is a beautiful park. They kind of have a Splash Mountain area. The train's a little different.
they do just straight up have Splash Mountain, and they're just leaving it, right?
They do. I'm not sure they know about Song of the South. I don't know.
They probably don't. They're just like, oh, this is a cute rabbit.
Yes, and we went on Splash Mountain on this recent trip. It was closed when we were there for the previous time, but like they are happy that they're the only one that have it, and like excited to tell you like, oh, you can't go on it where you're from, huh? So, and the biggest thing, and we'll get into the culture a little bit more in a minute, but like characters are so huge there. It's hard to explain. Like I said, I'll get into it in a minute, but the characters are all over the place, walking around or meet and greets, and the parades are like grander than anything we'll ever see here.
What just came back? Oh, I saw like a little screenshot of their Christmas parade. I'm like, Jesus.
Their nighttime parade is the most amazing
insane.
thing I've ever seen.
Did you see this?
No, I haven't seen any of them.
Dude, look, just look it up. Just look up the Christmas article for Disney Parks blog.
Mm-hmm.
It has a screenshot of it there, and I'm like, what's going on?
What was it? The Christmas parade?
Just go to Disney Parks blog. It's like
it's recent. That you saw.
Yeah. They posted
I can
one.
pull up some photos too.
Oh yeah, this guy and his awesome photos.
I think did they just get a redesign?
Yeah, we had a whole conversation.
Yeah,
Scroll down.
Don't remember.
Matthew brought it up. You brought it up.
12 where?
No. Okay.
Where here?
All right. He's pulling up some photos. So guys, okay. 10 ways to celebrate. No. Wishing you a holly jolly.
Oh man.
It's called Wishing You a Holly Jolly Happy Halfway Whatever thing. Dude, I saw this picture. Oh, this is Paris. Even Paris has this. Have you been to Paris?
I haven't. That's in
yeah,
my
we're not
plans.
talking about Paris.
Like 2
That's
years.
a Kimmy thing.
Dude, this is like the electrical parade, but just good.
Yeah. Like
oh, their
actual
electrical parade
working
looks
lights.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's insanity. So part of the story of this is Oriental Land Company. That's what they're called.
Ornamental? Is that what it said?
The owner was like one guy, right? And he loved Disneyland and was like, I want a Disneyland and I have millions or billions of dollars or yen, whatever it was.
Crazy.
And he like hit up Disney and he was like, I'll pay for it. Let me have it. Yeah. And they're like, okay. It's in the Imagineering story, which you should all watch. But
they don't spend a lot of time on it because it's not owned by Disney.
Yeah.
But
they talk about the Imagineers going there.
Yep.
The Imagineers talk about how much influence they had on it and how important that is. But imagine being very, very rich and your goal is to build a Disney park. You must care about it a lot because to get very rich, you're not spending every day at Disneyland. You're working or something.
Yeah.
Well, I know. But, you're doing the business stuff. But then this guy just loved Disneyland. So he built one and gave it the care that it needed and found the people who cared. And that is also kind of we got Disney Sea.
Yeah, that
Which
opened
is-
19 years after Tokyo Disneyland opened, I think.
And Disney Sea is bonkers to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I don't know where to start with this. I don't know I don't know how much you want me to talk about Disney Sea,
Well-
unless you want to go 5 hours. But
Okay, so your next point on here, the recent expansions point, kind of talks about this where it's not about corporate synergy. So
yeah,
I guess we could start more of the storytelling and move forward there.
Yeah, let's. I'll just talk a tiny bit about Disney Sea and how the two parks kind of interact.
Mhm.
It is not an esplanade, but it's the whole resort's linked by a monorail with 4 stops. Think of it as like the Magic Kingdom monorail.
Okay.
It's about that length, maybe a little bigger. One stop is the main train station. The next stop is Tokyo Disneyland, along with the hotel. The next stop is a bunch of like name brand hotels. Like there's a Hilton and a Sheraton, but they're like nicer than a Disney World resort, like a high end. They're very nice and right by Tokyo Bay. And then the next stop is Tokyo Disney Sea, along with Hotel Miracosta, which is a hotel inside of the theme park that is themed to the Mediterranean. So you walk into Disney Sea, the first thing you see is this giant globe. They call it the aquasphere. And then you go under a little, just a little walkway, and then it opens up to this massive Mount Prometheus is what it's called, a massive volcano.
How big is that mountain? Can you compare it to Tower of Terror? let's say?
Spaceship, probably about the same height.
Okay, but
Maybe
it's
a
out in the
little.
distance, right? So it seems taller.
Well, when you walk in, yeah,
Yeah.
but then you can go in it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's huge. Like it looks big. Like you can see it from outside of the park without any problem. So it's bigger than the Matterhorn or something like that. So yeah, you get this grand entrance, and then it all opens up. Yeah, that's
had
the
no idea.
That's the aquasphere, kind of in the entrance plaza, like when you walk into Disneyland, and then there's the train station before you turn the corner.
Oh,
and see
okay. Okay.
that- yeah, that's what that would be like. And then you can go either way. A little World Showcase-esque, honestly, in that you can go right and explore more of the Mediterranean harbor. You can go left, and there's some Mediterranean harbor with like gondolas and more ships. If you didn't catch on Disney Sea, it's just Disneyland, but everything's connected by water. So, and then there's an American waterfront that's themed to like industrial age New York. And it's just hyper themed lands that fit into the time period that they're supposed to. Under the volcano or inside the volcano is called Mysterious Island, themed to like Jules Verne novels. And it's like
Maybe you've seen it, but it's insane.
it's like a steampunk aqua green land that has thermal activity, and like the volcano's erupting and there's bubbling up in the water. It's
Mystery Island? Is it
Mysterious Island.
Mysterious Island.
Do you think that we would have gotten anything close to this if it was in Long Beach?
No, dude, we would have got Sea Base 1 from Epcot. Like,
I think it would have been a little bit half baked.
Yeah.
I do think they would have succeeded in some areas,
Mhm.
but I would love to see the price tag on like this opening park. I've never looked it up. I should, but yeah, it's gorgeous.
That's crazy.
And then every single land, they call them ports because it's again water. But every single port is just incredibly themed. There are Disney rides, like there's a Tower of Terror in the New York section, but it's an original story, and like it dips into some. It's all in Japanese, but they do storytelling very well. It's easy to follow, and they dip into like American greed and like how that plays a role, and it's really well told.
Wow.
Like you can figure it out. They have this is how I explain the theme in like one show. They have something in the American waterfront, the New York section. It's called Big Band Beat. It's just a stage show, but it's all in English. Like the whole thing is in English. Think about like if we had think about going to Japan and World Showcase, and if the whole thing was in Japanese, like, and it's like that would not happen.
Yeah.
It's like a 20, 30-minute show.
Oh.
And like, it's a big deal. Like the theater, it's as big as, what's the theater in
The Hyperion?
DCA? Yeah. It's about as big as the Hyperion.
And it's in English?
It's all in English. I think
Wow.
they say one sentence in the whole thing in Japanese.
Wow.
And of course, like, Japanese people speak English better than we speak Japanese. Goes without saying, but still, like there's a noticeable difference in how much they applaud during that one sentence in Japanese, because it is the one thing that they understand very clearly.
Yeah.
It's wild. The whole story is told like that. There's a giant ship in the middle of the park, or actually kind of off the offskirts of the park. The whole left side of Disney Sea is kind of pressed up against the Pacific Ocean. Tokyo Bay is right there, and there's technically a street between the park and the ocean, but they've raised the park up a little bit. So when you're walking alongside that section, there's like a Cape Cod section, a Port Discovery. When you look out, they raised it up, so then there's a seawall, but then it just looks like the park continues into the horizon.
That's insane.
It is brilliant. Like, it is incredibly well told.
I can't believe one of my friends, my best man, went to Japan and he didn't go to any Disney park.
I mean,
I was just like, I don't understand.
He doesn't care.
But it's just crazy that there's from what you're saying, I don't understand how anybody could not care. Like, it's just that it sounds that great.
Yeah, I mean, I love Japan as a whole. Like, we've spent 5 or 6 weeks in that country and just loved it. But it blends into the culture more than nearly any other. Disneyland is so unique, but Tokyo Disney Resort has been able to blend into the culture in different ways that feel pretty organic. And
Like, they like it there as opposed to the way
Euro Disney.
Parisians hate Disneyland Paris.
they absolutely love it. But it's also like, you go to other things in Tokyo, like Team Labs, which is an incredible museum, very of the moment, very immersive, just beautiful. Look it up if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you've seen Instagram reels probably. But they feel the same. Like, you're just there, and it's enveloping, and you can appreciate the story, and it's easy to follow along with. Like, they aren't taking any shortcuts. You asked a little bit about Disney centric, and like I said, there are Disney rides for sure. Like Indiana Jones is in Disney Sea, and it looks really, really good. It's a slightly different story, but it's the same track system and everything. And so there's things we're familiar with, but it doesn't feel like we have to tie this in because it's related to the company a lot of the time.
Yeah, and you were saying, like, ties into the culture over there. Japanese culture is, they like weird things.
They do.
But not like, oh, it's weird to us. They like the idea of being weird
Absolutely.
and cute. And
Yes.
there's the kawaii thing.
Yeah.
So
That's a huge part of the obsession with characters, I think. Like, we were there on Donald Duck's birthday. Does anyone here know when Donald's birthday
they
is?
tried to make it a thing here this year.
Did they?
But they love Donald Duck in Japan.
Yeah,
right?
there's like 9-hour waits to meet Donald Duck.
All right.
And like that wouldn't happen here.
No, we just see him.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
high five him as he goes by.
So yeah, I mean, it's cute. Like, it's fun to watch. I don't take part in the character thing, really. I don't care too much about characters, but it makes everything a little more cheerful.
And
Yeah.
are people seemingly are more dressed up over there?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Disney
they're not in
bound
yoga
culture.
pants.
No, I mean, like, I can wear shorts and a t-shirt and feel fine. I feel a little less fine if I'm like in Tokyo walking around. Like, I look like a tourist then. I'm not that
They
I
don't
don't
wear
look
shorts
like
over
it.
there?
They wear shorts. It's more the t-shirt. Like, it's button ups and like women wear skirts and pants more often than shorts. Like my Melissa would wear shorts, and it wouldn't be out of place. But like I don't know, way less shorts. Everyone's wearing. Everyone just looks nicer. so it
like it seems like there's
better.
almost like a not frilly but like a frilly dress culture,
right.
like old style.
Yeah.
Like it leaning into the dapper.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like I mentioned, Mickey Mouse shirt and Dodgers hat here, right?
Yeah.
That's the most common thing. But there, I would guess like a skirt, a nice top, and then like a Mickey ears or a weird Disney hat.
Or what's his name? Duffy.
That's right.
What's
I
up
love
with Duffy?
It's the same thing. It's that kawaii culture.
He's not that cute though.
He's pretty cute when you make him really small and everyone just carries him around on their hand.
Okay.
And like
Okay.
Duffy has like 6 different friends that they all know about and
Old
enjoy.
Duffy universe.
Yeah, they have
Okay.
like Cape Cod in Disney Sea is like the Duffy area.
Oh,
We took Duffy out back over here, right?
Yeah.
He was
yeah.
he was where
That
Nick Snacks was, and there's Duffy's gone.
He's
Yeah.
Gonzo's.
He's
Yeah.
a little more prominent in Alani, which makes sense. And then yeah,
he's just a teddy bear, right?
Huge. Mickey Mouse's teddy bear.
Oh, really?
That's why it's a big deal.
So Mickey Mouse has a teddy bear, and
It's
he's Duffy.
And then
Why
Duffy
don't we
has
know this?
Friends.
Is there something I missed?
Not really. Not in the American.
Like there wasn't like a
park.
short, or there might have been one at some point.
I actually went to D23 what was it, 2022? There was a panel about Duffy. So I went and they showed shorts that they were like, this is going to be on Disney Plus, and they were beautiful, like almost.
But they hadn't been before. They were just like, here's Duffy.
Yep.
Here's a picture of Mickey Mouse holding Duffy. That was it.
Sort of, but they had created, I think,
No,
6
before
different
this.
shorts.
Before this.
Yeah, I mean, I think they had commercials and stuff.
So just like, Mickey Mouse has a teddy bear named Duffy, and that's all it took.
Yeah, that's pretty much
That's
it.
that's wild.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense now, though.
Yep.
I had
'Cause
no
it's like-
idea.
I think Duffy
That's-
has 5 friends, maybe 6, and they're all just like all over the place.
That's so genius. How did they not try that here in that same way?
I think they did an Epcot for a little while longer.
Because I had never heard of this like backstory.
Yeah.
Because if a kid saw Mickey Mouse holding a teddy bear and then you can have the teddy bear, that's huge. Because that's what we all do. We want the things that the characters have. I know lightsabers are cool, but like the lightsabers, we want a holocron. Holocrons are not that cool, but they have them, so we want them, right? Like,
It's just crazy that there's a world in Japan where Duffy and Winnie the Pooh live harmoniously side
and
by
they
side.
love Winnie the Pooh.
Exactly.
I think they just love teddy bears.
Okay.
Just love cute things.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they have 3 different country bears, you said earlier. So,
I mean, they have 2 different Country Bear theaters, so they can load double.
What?
Like they set them because the show's 20 minutes. That one loads every 10 minutes because it's that big of a thing. It's not just the cute culture; it's also an obsession with Americana. I think.
yeah.
Like they like Americana more than we do. Their version of, again, called the American Waterfront, like it's better than anything we do Americana wise in America. It's so well designed and so well thought out, probably because Imagineering had a hefty budget and could make what they wanted to. They didn't have to hide any themes about it. They didn't have to think of the consequences of being like, well, if we include American greed, then that's probably not going to go over well with American audiences. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a weird thing. When you're enjoying someone else's culture, you kind of want the stereotypes because you don't have time for the real stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So when World Showcase...
I mean, like some of the stereotypes are inevitably right.
Yeah, like World Showcase has like the Italian pasta restaurant and the big tower. Japan has the temple and the Tori Gate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And-
which is on the cover art, which was ironic
Yeah.
because it's the...
Oh, there you go.
My wife and I were at the actual...
A real one.
That's the one Epcot's based off of.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Yeah, and so you want all that stuff. So in America, when you see like hyper American stuff, we think it's funny. We think, oh, America, you know, it's like, ha ha ha, like bald eagles and all that. But over there, you're like, bald eagle, that's American. And I get it, which I guess like makes sense with like the regal eagle. It's so like colonial American that when people from around the world, we got to eat at the American restaurant, right? And it makes sense. So
I'm not sure it ever becomes funny there, though. That's how well it's done.
No, that's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like,
sure.
The stereotype is funny to yourself. Like, if we went too hard on something American, we would laugh at it. But in other countries, like, this is what we think America is, and they appreciate it that way because you have to get, like, shot in the face with a cannon of that culture in that moment because you don't live there.
And that's what you're saying World Showcase is. Like, all the different...
Yeah, you have to get that quick, like, blast of just, like, here's the most hyper-cultural thing ever, even if it's a little bit stereotypical.
That's why there's a beer garden in Germany.
Yeah. And Lederhosen and the little dancers. And then in Mexico, you have the big pyramid and Donald's wearing a sombrero. And I know it's a short, but like it's you have to get it all at once. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. And
there's one part of the American waterfront where it feels like they are making fun of us. And there's a Teddy Roosevelt lounge that is just themed to Teddy. Like it would be the best lounge in America at a Disney theme park if it was here. But it is just themed to Teddy Roosevelt. And like there are pictures of Teddy Roosevelt everywhere. He's just staring at you. And then there are like bear statues holding up the bar. And it is so strange that to the point where it's either like, oh, they just think this is funny, or an Imagineer just really like Teddy Roosevelt.
And his name's Teddy, you know, getting into the Teddy.
Oh, there we go.
But, you know what though? If you wanted to think of like ideal American president, not
I guess you're right.
Like of the person, you think Teddy Roosevelt. You know, that he was Mr. National Parks, right? And like, is he the one who got shot in the chest and kept going?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, don't look at me.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Wasn't he played by Robin Williams?
Yeah. He was giving a speech and he was shot and he like in his rib and he like winced and then finished the speech.
Like a boss.
He's the American. So, this is your photo. I was like, dude, his photo just showed up on Google. That's funny. It up. That's like your main photo right now, right? On your,
I think so. Yeah.
Somewhere on Instagram. Good stuff. I feel like Disney photography used to be so much bigger.
It seems like it. Maybe that's my actual problem with like the current content. I'm like, these don't look that good.
Instagram used to be the place for pretty pictures.
Yeah.
Now it's the selfie place.
Yeah.
And that's all you could do. But okay, back to Teddy Roosevelt and America. So
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, their storytelling's great. They care about this place. The sightlines is a big deal. Walt Disney World, not so great.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a big deal at Walt Disney World, right? That's why
the contemporaries.
That's what. Yeah, good point. But they did have like that's why the Morocco Pavilion blends in with the Tower of Terror because of the sightline. That's what they were going for. But then they build big boxes. The sightlines are really incredible, largely because at Disney Sea they like build the hotel into the theme park and it fits the story and everything. That's cool. There are like in Disneyland, they almost use Tokyo's massive, obviously. They almost use that to their advantage. Like you can go up in Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse there and see like Tokyo Bay, and it doesn't pull you out of the park. It kind of adds to the beauty. So,
how many days would you recommend?
For you or
for me? For like a Disney, I'm going to Tokyo, and one of my main stops is Disney.
It does depend, like how many days on the trip you have.
Like it's a week.
Then probably 3. If it was 2 weeks, I'd go 4 for sure.
Really?
I do 2 in each park, but for you, like I'd go 2 in Disney Sea and 1 in Tokyo Disneyland. I love the place. They are my 2 favorite parks in the world, with Disneyland a close third. So
yeah, I feel like that would be a hard decision for me. Like, do I do a trip with both, or do I do one first and then go back? Like do I do the Tokyo trip? But then it's like, but I didn't go to Disney. But then, I did the Tokyo trip. You only went to Disney. But then I don't want to be anywhere for 2 weeks.
Sure.
That's a long time. That's a very long time.
Where me, I'm like, I wish I could be away for a month. Yeah.
I wish I could be away for a month. I don't know if I want to be, quote unquote, traveling for 2 weeks. I'd get bored of Hawaii for 2 weeks. But like, you're laying on the beach. You're in relax mode. I can't be in go mode and I know you can take it easy too if you want.
You probably won't. Like if you view it as like
if you're
once in a lifetime or once every 10, 20 years vacation, then you probably won't take it.
But it's like, even when you're going to Tokyo, like, how much are you doing a lay on the beach type of thing? It's a city. It's a huge city. You're going to a city, and that's the point.
Tokyo is insane.
Yeah.
It is the most overwhelming place you'll ever be.
That's why we're not doing it for the honeymoon. I wanted to. And it's like, after all this craziness from the wedding, I'm not going to want to just do the go thing. As much as I want to go to Tokyo.
There are parts of Japan that the honeymoon would be great. Tokyo, I would not do.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to eat it. I want to eat an egg sandwich in a Family Mart. Like, that's that's not vacation.
You want to get dinner at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
So, okay. So I had.
Do you want me to touch on the expansion that just happened at all?
Oh, right.
Yeah. That's why I was
about
there, but I kind of got carried away. So
let's go. No, let's go. That is the Disney expansion.
it is.
And that's Disney Sea?
Yeah, that's in Disney Sea. Weirdly, it is closer to like Toontown Fantasyland in Tokyo Disneyland than it is to most of Disney Sea. Like it is the layout, like if you're looking at an overview of the resort, like they are right next to each other.
But you can't
yet. But there is there's a new hotel with this expansion, and only hotel guests can use that. They're like Epcot. There's 2 entrances now, but only hotel guests can use that entrance for now. I don't know how long that's going to last. I bet they change it to where everyone can use it.
So you can go to both parks from the hotel?
No, there's no Disneyland entrance yet.
Oh, okay.
But I think I would guess it's coming. I think it just makes sense because they're both fantasy lands. So yeah, this expansion is called Fantasy Springs. True to Disney Sea, like they make it connect. It maybe doesn't fit in with the rest of the park quite as well, but like at that point you're just kind of picking nits. It's not it doesn't really take away from the park at all. So there are 4 attractions. The land's kind of divided into 3 sections, maybe 4 sections, but we'll hit on the 3. Well, one is Tangled, one is Frozen, and one is Peter Pan. Peter Pan, you're in Neverland. In Tangled, you're in Rapunzel's Forest, and in Frozen, you're in Arendelle. So
is this Kingdom Hearts, dude? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Kind of has that feel.
Yeah,
I mean, with the logo and with that, I mean, they blend them together so well. Each section is pretty immersive, but they're able to link it together. The lore or backstory is that a magical spring popped up, leading to this fantasy gateway, and it's all very green and lush and beautiful. There's less like running water throughout it than there is in the rest of Disney Sea, but otherwise, like it fits in.
It has like a port, right? Or it is. Am I confusing?
They're all called ports.
Yeah, but it has like a water feature.
It has plenty of water features.
Okay.
There's like 4 waterfalls in the port, and like Arendelle has I mean, it's supposed to be a lake. It's not the size of a lake, but it's a pretty good sized water feature. So there are 4 attractions. Rapunzel's Lantern Festival, which is you've all probably seen it on Instagram now, which leads to like the whole ride setting up for that lantern scene in Tangled, and it is as beautiful as you could imagine. Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure, that's the name of it, is probably my second favorite ride there. It's really incredible. Have you guys been on Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey?
Yeah. Is that the one here?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a similar ride system where they're taking you up, except you're all in a boat and the walls are up, so you can't see to the side of you. But it looks it's kind of a blend of that and Soarin'. So it's taking you, think of Ratatouille, but a lot better. It's taking you to these different screens. In between, there's practical sets. And then you're flying around with Peter Pan and the Lost Boys to try to save. I think the mission is to save John from Captain Hook. And you're flying around, and it is adorable, but it's also really, really well done. Like there was once or twice where we got stuck in a spot and then you could really notice the screens and everything. But it is a 3D ride and yeah, a fantastic. It's that. I mean, the land is fantasy, but it is that area's thrill ride. There's a Tinkerbell's. I can never remember the name. Fairy Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies is one, and that's just like a little kid outdoor Fantasyland style track that has an amazing animatronic on it, but otherwise not anything you're probably going to talk about when you leave. And then the crown jewel, in my opinion, although many people like the Peter Pan ride just as much, but there's it's called Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, and they're like the bones of Frozen Ever After are there. There's the boat going forward and backward. But it's one of the best rides in the world right now. It's the animatronics. I counted, there's over 30 of them, and they all look as good as like the shaman, from
River
Navi
Journey.
River Journey.
Navi River.
Yeah, it's like we blow all our budget on one,
Yeah.
and they're just
Yeah.
like all of them are that
Yep.
one.
I think there's like 15 of them in there that are the same model as that.
Man.
And they do something really cool that I like. It took me a couple ride throughs to do to realize, but like they treat the ride vehicle as like a camera into the ride. So all of the timing is perfect. Like the doors swing open and you're panning in to see Elsa's face, and then you're zooming back out, and it's just incredible. There's one scene, like it's kind of a book report attraction. It's kind of just telling Frozen, but you go backwards down a waterfall, and I don't want to spoil too much, but you go backwards down a waterfall, you go into like the art room and see Anna like excited for the ball or whatever. I don't really remember Frozen that well. And then you scoot all the way back, and she's all excited in her facial features, and then you still see her in the background, but in the foreground and in focus is Elsa, like looking a little timid, and it's just treating a ride vehicle differently than I've ever seen before, and it's incredible.
So it's like the way like Cosmic Rewind is Space Mountain 2.0. This is like the new classic dark ride, because old dark rides, everything was for your car, and then it would reset for the next car.
Yep.
As opposed to,
well, I mean, everything here is still for your boat, though.
no, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's the new version of that where it's all of this is for you, and then when your boat's gone, it resets for the next boat, as opposed to
Passing
endless
by.
loops.
It was, I think it was a Poseidon video where he was talking about Little Mermaid, and he was like, I actually like this ride, but the Little Mermaid is not a story built for loops where the music just keeps looping. Where like Haunted Mansion, they're all just singing and whatever, and you could just keep going through it. Where Little Mermaid would have been a better dark ride, where you start at the beginning of Kiss the Girl and it probably speeds up or whatever, but like the scene ends and you move on, and this Frozen sounds like
It's more choreographed.
yeah, and there's the big cape effect that everyone loves.
No, I think it's insane.
Where people thought it was just CGI, they didn't realize it was a ride through on the videos, and it's like
They use that in the Beauty and the Beast ride in Tokyo Disneyland too.
so yeah, it's like
crazy effect.
That effect's not going to keep running. That's for you.
Yep.
It's a big climactic moment, and then you move on. So it really sounds like they don't skimp at all.
Not at all.
They don't cut the budget.
And like those are just the rides. There's 3 restaurants. There's a giant hotel, which is maybe the worst part of the land. There's water features just kind of off on their own. Like there are 7 fountains, all with different Disney sculptures. It's incredible. The Arendelle section is beautiful. But yeah, it all looks incredible.
I wonder if it has to do with a different culture of capitalism in Japan, where prestige is very important there, legacy is very important, but also you see this with Nintendo the most. If you make good things, people will buy the good things, even if you spend a lot of money on those things, except for Pokemon. But here, it's like, how are we going to do this quarter? We spent too much money this quarter. It's over for us.
Yep.
As opposed to like, hey, we'll have a bad quarter, and then next quarter, people aren't going to stop talking about this new thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Where we actually, for a while, you saw that with Amazon when Bezos was in charge. He would say, like, we didn't make a profit. Don't worry. We didn't make a profit. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
And now you buy everything from Amazon. And now Amazon sucks again. But like, there was a time they were top of the world because he was like, we're just going to keep spending.
Right.
Spend. And now you get same day shipping and stuff like that. So it sounds like over there, like, yeah, this is going to cost us a ton of money.
I mean, it was the most expensive theme park expansion ever. And that's with the Japanese yen being so weak.
Yeah.
compared
So
to-
they're just like, yeah, we're just going to spend the money and that will bring us money. But it's Oriental Land Company. It's like, this is what we do. Where Disney's like, we make movies, and some of the people who invest in that don't understand what a theme park is or should be or whatever. Man, yeah,
It's a smashing success. Like, it's an incredible port. Like I mentioned, and I'm not even sure it's the best area in Disney Sea though. It's so
but
amazing.
it's like it doesn't need to be because the park is so
and
good.
they know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they let it be what it is, and it's very successful in doing that.
Yeah,
And so much fun to just be in.
when I saw the pictures, of the land or the water area of Disney Fantasy Springs. Jeez. Okay, of Fantasy Springs. I was like, yeah, this seems to fit into this Disney Sea theme.
Yep.
It just does. Like they got it. They understood it where, it's all some funny explanation. Some spring came up, whatever. But like we figured it out. Whereas like Avengers Campus was like, oh, it was hidden and the Sanctum. And like, where like DCA 1.0, it made a little more sense.
It was more cohesive.
Originally, even though it wasn't good, guys.
No,
I
no,
loved
that's
it,
not.
but it wasn't good. But
Even
it was like,
DCA 2.0 right at the start made a little more sense.
yeah, we have Buena Vista Street. This is Los Angeles. And like, even though Radiator Springs is kind of like New Mexico, it's like, look, we have the desert of California.
We
And
have
then-
Route 66.
Yeah, we have a pier out in the distance. Like we have Hollywood, we have like basically Yosemite, right? And it works. And even like Bugs Land, it was just like it just blended in as like this little grassy area, and it was fine. And they're bugs, they're small. It doesn't really matter. So
No, it all flows so beautifully, and like if it's all explained so well without having to make much of it. Like you could go to Fantasy Springs and not know the backstory and be like, yeah, this is great. I have the transition. It makes sense in my mind. You don't need the lore or some crazy Sanctum story. Yeah, it's all just flowing right into each other.
You make me want to go like next week.
Let's do it.
Like I am.
This has been the hardest trip to come back from I've ever been on.
yeah, like the back of Disneyland works. Tomorrowland has the lagoon with the submarines and a monorail, kind of futury, but that it's a lagoon, and then there's a Matterhorn, like a big mountain, and there's the cars. Autopia kind of backs up against it, and then you see Edelweiss Snacks with a little bit of water, and then that kind of flows into the Small World area, which is still, it's not Swiss or whatever, but it's got like this interesting architecture.
European.
Yeah, and then it kind of flows into Alice and Storybook Land Canal, and then you're in a village, and then the village kind of flows into Big Thunder Trail.
Yep.
Right? Which definitely fits in with Galaxy's Edge, but you don't see it, so it doesn't really matter there. But it makes sense that it's there. And then that flows into a bunch of rivers. Shout out to River. Frontierland. And then for some reason, the Frontier blends into New Orleans very well, which also just the way the New Orleans buildings just transition into Adventureland,
Yeah.
it all makes sense without even explaining it.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a big thing. I saw that I fell into baseball YouTube for a moment, and they were talking about Wrigley Field in Chicago, where the Cubs play, and the ship of Theseus, and how the old Wrigley Field, like none of the pieces are there anymore, but they renovated it very slowly over time because it was a historic monument, and they added some seats on top, and then they added some lights, and then they like expanded one side of it, and then they had to put a building across the street, so they moved a couple things. They raised this other thing and added whatever, and because they did it slowly over time, there was a common thread of a design language of we slowly built all this. Anytime we had to add something, like we had to fit it in, as opposed to just like plopping something down. And so that part of like Disneyland still makes sense. They won't ruin it. They won't Avengers Campus Disneyland. As much as people don't like Galaxy's Edge for what it was supposed to be or whatever.
Like they hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if they didn't, when you're at the top of Big Thunder and you see the spires,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it works. And like I was on the Mark Twain with my mom, and I was like, that's Star Wars. She goes, oh, it looks big. But like she sees mountains.
Right.
And eventually the trees will cover a couple of the buildings that have the lights on it. But like they made it work because there is a little bit of sacred
Oh yeah.
to Disneyland.
I think that's what DCA is for.
Yeah.
They just plop the stuff there.
But like
It's easy.
I hope
Tiana's
it wasn't like originally supposed to be that, but
But
it
it's
is
become
now.
that.
and like people can say whatever they want about Tiana's.
It makes
It's
sense.
next to New Orleans Square.
And Critter Country, which
There's
I mean,
no
yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't get better than that. Like, and Haunted Mansion is that is New Orleans. So it's just like it's all there and it makes sense.
Yeah.
And
to
yeah.
me, that is theme. Like that is the theme park.
And that's kind of maybe what I was missing in Epcot is we talked about this a few times, if they stuck to the 80s, like
Retro.
the gross retro 80s
Mall vibe.
brutalism
Yeah.
a little bit, it would have this theme and you can fit everything into there. World Showcase is kind of its own thing, which is kind of funny. It's just on its own, but like it would fit. And like even they saved one of the Communicore buildings and that has like this look and it fits with Spaceship Earth, but then the new Communicore Hall makes no sense. It's very shiny. And I know it's the new hotness to make fun of right now. But yeah, it's nice to see that there is a place that cares about this stuff.
Right.
And it's not just like dorky nonsense.
To its
care
credit,
about
like that's what I like about Animal Kingdom. I do feel like there's a flow to
I
it.
will say, yeah.
Outside of Dino Land, which won't be there much longer.
Yeah. And, well, that's going to be weird now with it's not going to be as animal themed, but the temple will fit.
I bet
you know.
they'll fit something.
But the whole like the Harambe thing, you're in the Harambe area. Shout out to Harambe. But So said this, and it sounds like a negative comment. You never know where you are in Animal Kingdom unless you're familiar with it because it all looks the same, but it's because it just looks like you're in a huge village.
It's so green too.
Yeah. And everything has the same theme and it's very cohesive, but things are different. You're like, have I
Different
been
enough.
here?
Yeah.
And then when you wander into Nepal for Everest, you just wandered in there from Africa somehow, but it works.
Same thing as what you said about Galaxy's Edge. Like going into Pandora doesn't really make a lot of sense if you've actually stopped to think about it, but it works because it has that same aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah. So just one final thing to talk about with Tokyo. Well, I guess it's two things, but let's talk about the locals.
Yeah.
So it's a locals park?
Yes. It's a Japanese park.
Yeah.
I think that's a better probably way to say it. It was a locals park for sure. There's a bit of frustration right now actually because they aren't selling APs. They haven't since the pandemic. They aren't selling annual passes. If they start selling those again, like it's going to become a huge thing again for locals. Still, it's cheap. It's way cheaper than us going to Disneyland on like a one-day ticket. So there are plenty of locals still going. There's also just a lot of Japanese people going. Like it's not a high percentage of at least white tourists. I would guess that there's probably some people coming over from China or Korea, but yeah, it feels very local in that I mentioned the Donald Duck thing, how they wait. Like people are just going to come and wait for things. There's kind of a hangout culture in that, like, oh, the parade's at 1. Okay, people are going to line up at 10:30, and that's fine. They'll talk to each other. They'll go get their cute food while someone else saves the spot. It feels very personal to all of them, at least from an outsider's perspective.
So does it feel like it was built as a destination for Japanese people? Like it wasn't built as like people of the world traveling.
It doesn't feel, at least originally. I mean, it doesn't feel like that. No, I think the beauty of it and what Walt Disney World tried to do, and probably did for quite a while, honestly, if we're being fair, like, but it can handle that. It can handle people coming in because the pathways are big.
Yeah, it's like people will travel here, but we're building it for our people.
It feels very Japanese. It feels very like it feels, it's so immersive, and like you might point to the show example where everything's in English as a counterpoint, I guess. But to me, that's just really well themed things, and like again,
it's a novelty in a way.
Yeah, and again, kind of an obsession with Americana. Like I'm not sure that show would do incredibly well in America because we might not be as interested in what they're showcasing.
We have an obsession with Japanese culture. I think people don't realize, like, why would people be obsessed with America? We're so uncultured. It's like, no, we are a culture.
Yeah.
Our culture could be not enough seasoning, but that's fine. Right. Like, it's still, we have this thing about us. We have, the movies are made here. I know Bollywood is a separate culture of movie making. We have the Hollywood culture, the barbecue, the baseball, just the sports in general, right? Rock and roll, like, and I know Beatles, but it's like, that kind of ropes into it a little bit too. But like any little Japanese store, right? Especially the one in Epcot. It's wild. And we're just buying like little kitty cats and Kit Kats and matcha and Pocky. A lot of people don't know Pocky is like a thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very like SoCal people know because like all our friends are like, you know, we have the diverse cast of friends, you know, but people don't realize it's just like sold in Target over here.
Yeah.
But anyways, I digress.
I mean, look at Anime Expo. You go to Anime Expo, and that's probably like that same version of.
Yeah. It's a little column A, a little column B.
But
we have an obsession with other people's cultures.
Absolutely.
And so that's just a thing. That's just a normal thing around the world. It's something you don't have, and you're like, it's so mysterious and cool. And like, I wonder what it's like to be that person. Yeah. So
I do think there's a pride there too in how Japanese people feel about those theme parks. The same way Southern California people largely feel about Disneyland. Not everyone, of course, but like for the most part, Disneyland's kind of seen as a cool place to go hang out here, and it feels like there's that sense of pride as well for
I mean, it is
Resort.
very interesting there because they don't really like immigrants in Japan. It's very homogenous there. And I'm sure they don't like annoying travelers. No one does.
Yeah.
But they love sharing their culture with people.
They do.
Like you show up.
They are so kind.
Yeah. And what people don't realize, like they really appreciate you putting in the effort to speak terrible Japanese. Like, oh, he's trying to learn our language. They appreciate us.
Even in like my experience, even just trying to converse with them in like broken English, they're like, oh, this is amazing. Thank you. And it's so sweet. Like they are very kind.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're there to visit, so they want to show off how great their country is. But when we do that, like when places do that, it's like to get you to move there. They're just like, no, we're so great, right? All right, see you next time, you know, which is, that's fine, you know. But yeah, I think that's really cool. It's cool when people have pride in their work and pride in their culture and pride in what they've built. I think that's really important. But yeah, I'm glad to see that that's there. It's not like this. And yeah, I guess Disney doesn't have as much control as they possibly can over there, but I feel like they're not too unhappy with the deal that they get. They basically get free money.
That's true.
So they get licensing money and this good hype and whatever.
And like they could probably, I think originally there was an exclusivity like clause in the attractions. I don't know how much longer that will last, but it wouldn't surprise me if Disneyland gets that Frozen ride eventually.
Yeah,
I think the new Space Mountain at Tokyo Disneyland is rumored to have the Cosmic Rewind track. So I think There's some sharing going on.
Yeah. I think Freddie told me like, because I said like, when are we gonna get this Tomorrowland? Like never. He goes, no, I think that thing's over. It started in the beginning because they got Imagineering resources, but they said we'll pay for it all, so you can't just take Honey Hunt and throw it in Disneyland in a year. I think it was only like 5 years per ride. I think it was like per thing.
5 years was in my head too.
Yeah, I heard that somewhere, but I think that might just be gone now.
I have
but
no idea why Honey Hunt isn't anywhere else. Like,
yeah,
it's incredible,
and it's
an amazing ride.
It's not tall,
no.
So it's not like they got to build Rise or something. It's just like
Magic Kingdom needs Honey Hunt so badly.
Yeah, their Winnie the Pooh is like bad, right?
Yeah.
Like ours is fine.
Well, they got rid of Mr. Toad for it.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is crazy. Yeah. So, okay. One last little thing, a little logistics, getting in and out of it. It's in Tokyo. Well, Tokyo. Saying it's in Tokyo is like saying something's in LA, right? But
It's the same.
Crazier.
It's, same sort of thing. I mean, Tokyo, Japan as a whole just has better public transportation, so it's easier in that way. From Tokyo Station proper, it's about a half-hour trip to Tokyo Disney, maybe a little
But in a
less.
clean train where
Clean train.
no one's gonna beat you up or sing songs.
Clean train, quick train. Like it's 6 stops away, and then a short monorail ride to the park. But I would recommend, if you're going for multiple days, just stay by there. There's so many great hotel options. Right there.
Yeah, I feel like, especially, I just can't believe how cheap everything is over there.
Yeah.
You just go post up in a Disney hotel and then grab your crap, get on the train, and then stay in Tokyo if you're going to Tokyo.
Right.
Like, why?
Yeah.
You don't need the home base.
Like we stayed, my poor wife, like I make us hop around quite a bit while we're at Disney trips to like review hotels.
Mm-hmm.
So we stayed at like 4 that were near the resort. And I think the most we paid per night was like $180 per night. And like one of those was the Toy Story Hotel. That was the Disney one we stayed in. But there was a Hilton right there that would be the same proximity to these parks as like let's say the Polynesian at Disney World is to Magic Kingdom. So yeah, it's very convenient. There's so many options, and they're all, because of the exchange rate, they're all so well priced. But yeah, it's not hard to get there from Tokyo. They even have Twilight tickets now. So if you wanted to go for like a day and a half and come down, have lunch in Tokyo, then come down and get in the park at 3, you could.
Dude, people want that so bad here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just want to pop in for a few hours. But it sounds like there is no half. It's day and a half, right?
No, there is.
Oh, there is a half.
Yep.
Oof.
But I would do more than that. Is like what I was saying.
It's. I wonder if that's because they don't have the passes right now.
There's
I'm
more
sure
flexibility.
They've had that before,
Mhm.
before the pandemic. So they brought those back. I hope they bring back the APs soon.
Would you grab an AP as someone?
No,
You
because
don't go that often.
Well, their tickets are so cheap, and their annual passes were priced at pretty high.
Okay.
But
Okay.
like their one-day tickets are $60. So
Paris is like that too.
Is
which
it?
on certain days?
yeah,
Like you can go on like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it's
Mhm.
just like it's $60.
yeah.
My cousin went, and he's a cheap. And we're like, dude, go. He's like, oh, the tickets are like $60. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Man, I had something.
The
Annual pass. Oh, do you know about the Baymax thing?
yeah.
Do you know about the
No,
Baymax thing?
what Baymax
They have
thing?
a Baymax ride that's like Mater's.
Oh yeah,
Man,
and the
it's
dancing
Yeah, and
on
they-
the side.
A
Yeah,
bunch of locals just show up and
Incredible.
dance all day.
so
Yeah.
funny.
yeah, I saw this.
There are specific dance moves. Look it up. There's a specific content creator. I don't know what she does.
Mhm.
That was like, what's going on? And it's a Japanese culture thing, which it's very cool. It's sweet.
It's
but
amazing.
It's weird.
It's very weird. Security is better there.
I mean, there are no guns there, so
yeah, I wasn't gonna say it.
there are
but
literally no guns.
I went
there.
to a baseball game while there at the Tokyo Dome, and they felt my backpack. I had a camera with like 3 lenses, which would never pass.
How was
here.
the Tokyo Dome?
It was more modern than I expected.
Okay,
Because I think Dome and baseball stadium, and I'm like, probably not going to look too good. I liked it.
In 2 days or 1 day, depending on, I don't know how the time works. Like, is it?
Are they behind or forward?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. They're forward.
They're
like
forward.
16 hours ahead.
Okay, then might be right now. A K-pop group is using all my inflatables in the Tokyo Dome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I sent them these massive Powerpuff Girls
Fantastic.
but yeah,
That's great.
I didn't know it was all inside.
Yeah.
Because I was telling them, you need to make sure it's strapped down properly because it's outside because it's the dome, and they're like, no, it's inside.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, have fun.
It's
Yeah.
built in like the 80s, but it's pretty, or late 80s, but it's pretty modern for that. So, but yeah, security is a breeze. And the people will show pictures of like giant crowds outside of the turnstiles before
Mhm.
opening, and those exist, but you get through relatively quick, and it's not a big deal. So it's really pretty easy. Their app has some issues, but not quite like
It's a
ours.
different app.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it works fairly well, and at this point everything is in English and pretty easy to follow. So
Cool.
Yeah. So to close up this Big Thunder topic, and then we got a little segment afterwards, of course. To close up the Big Thunder topic, we have the parks around the world are actually just wildly different from each other. And I think people, you think like, I want to visit all the parks, like, oh, we're just going to visit all the parks. And, California, like we said, is just, you just kind of show up. You don't really need a plan here. You don't need, like, we had Will from Ohio was like, how do I get there from Long Beach Airport? I just take an Uber. And he's like, I'm like, there's no train. There's no bus. You just get in a car and you show up here and you're fine. Like it'll go. Walt Disney World, you better have a plan. You can just Uber there. That's fine. But like he said it, if I went with like just me and Kimmy, first time ever, with no one who's ever been there before, I don't think we would know what to do. Where you'd think like people are like, oh, I just get on a bus. But like after going there, I'm like, oh, the buses run certain times to certain places, and then they close part of the bus depot, and then it's actually quicker to walk to another place that has a bus pickup because it's more popular.
Yeah.
Like me knowing like to go to Boardwalk. Like when they probably would have told me,
Mm-hmm.
but like when I was at Disney Springs, like, oh, where's your hotel? The buses don't go to Dolphin and Swan. And I could have said that, and they might have been like, oh, go wait for their shuttle, but their shuttle takes too long. So it's like, oh, I'm going to Boardwalk. And they're like, I'll take you to Boardwalk. Like they changed the bus for me. But like they get it. So like, or you have to like kind of know that weird stuff. And like Disney Springs has a million places to go, but like you don't want to go to half the places maybe. Right. But then, people like go to Jock Lindsay's and whatever. And then like, I don't know, just knowing how far everything is and whatever. And then, Tokyo Disney, it sounds like, kind of figure out some general Japanese things.
Sure.
Like cultural norms and what not to do, what to say, whatever, right?
But
And
it sounds accessible.
yeah.
It is.
I've
good
seen
at-
some dumb
like-
people go there. So
Sure.
like,
Like if you aren't good at Google Maps, then get better at that before you go. But otherwise, you're gonna be fine.
I've seen people figure
Be
it out. I'm
nice
like,
to
I don't know
people.
how you figured this out. So, so if they can, you can. And then, Paris is very like, it's not actually in Paris. That's its own thing. And then China, don't get me started. And then, but apparently Hong Kong is super easy because most people speak English in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's one of the primary languages there. That's a wild thing. But that one's also bizarro Disneyland.
Right.
Yeah,
I'd
it's-
like to go to Hong Kong.
It seems chill.
Maybe not Hong Kong Disneyland that much, but I'd spend the day there.
Yeah.
I'd like to just go to Hong Kong in general.
Yeah. And Shanghai, the world is your bathroom. You remember that?
Mm-mm.
When they first opened, kids were just pooping in the bushes and
Oh,
stuff.
no.
It's all look up the opening of Shanghai Disneyland. Wild time. But yeah, wildly different areas of the world. And I swear
I do.
I had another comment, but yeah, go ahead.
One more point. Like, I do think the Disneyland parks, we talk about just showing up a little bit, but like once you're in there, if you haven't been there before, you probably need, just because there's so much to do, you probably do need a plan to be able to get through it all in one day, which isn't really what you're getting at.
Well,
But like an itinerary is pretty useful for Disneyland, especially.
yeah, if you're trying to do everything for the day. Yeah, that is different.
Same thing with like Tokyo Disneyland or Disney Sea. Like
You need a
Those-
plan.
Those parks have like 30 and 27 attractions each.
Yeah,
And
but if you're coming for like people come to Disneyland for like a few days.
yeah, then
like-
you can get it done pretty easy.
I try to tell people like if you show up at Rope Drop and have Genie Plus, you'll do everything.
Yeah.
You will.
Even without Genie Plus. If
Yeah.
you show up at Rope Drop and like know 3 or 4 big ones to get done and then come back a second day, you're gonna get it done.
But if you're rope dropping with Genie Plus, you can do everything in a
yeah,
day.
that's true.
If you show up even at like 11,
Yeah.
it gets tough. Like we couldn't do everything.
Yeah.
But
Rope Drop.
the
is
thing with
key.
Disneyland, there is so much to do. You could just stumble on the next thing to do.
Right.
I tell people if you're indecisive and everything's a long line, you see a line, you get in line.
Yep.
Like, oh, Pirates looks long. You're already there. Just get in line.
Pirates isn't gonna be that long anyway.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, but Big Thunder. I'm like, just walk there afterwards. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like you just
Yep.
you can just kind of wander around. And it's all there.
That's true.
You know, don't eat at Pizza Planet. Listen to Disneyland for Beginners. I think that
I've sent it to people.
dude, that's actually, I think that guide is relevant because it's a lot of general, like, do these things. Like, just set yourself up, but then kind of like roam free, you know?
Mhm.
So, I think Disneyland is low stakes because you're in SoCal. Like, it's not, people will just DoorDash food to their hotel. Like, it's not a big deal. And everything is stuck together. Like, all the hotels and everything share land, which is a really different experience from like Disney World. So yeah, I don't know if I have much more to say about these comparisons in this style of episode. We will possibly break down my theme park thing at another time. But that is our Big Thunder topic. So if this is your final stop,
Thanks for chatting with us today.
it's time for We Have It So Good, where we in the Tram Fam talk about our trips to Disney parks and more, right in with your trip recaps at trammin.com/ask after I take a sip. You try this?
Delicious.
Watermelon lemonade
Yeah.
seltzer from Trader Joe's. It's
That's
wild.
really good.
Every time I go, I buy 2 boxes.
There's no wow. Just 0 straight all the way
Nothing.
down.
Nothing.
Crazy.
All right. Emily from YouTube writes in. I'm calling this Emily's Retribution. She was supposed to be read last week.
Yeah.
Hey, Tram Fam. I wanted to share about this past weekend when I visited the parks 2 days in a row, technically 4 if you include my working nights on Friday and Monday. On Saturday, I went in with my married pass holder friends, D and B, for the husband's B's birthday celebration. They thought they had reservations for the Disneyland side, but they found out the gate that their res was for DCA. This was the one time procrastination worked in my favor since I hadn't made myself a res yet and was able to make one for DCA on the tram in. We rode Little Mermaid, start the day, and marveled at the lower crowds. In the morning, we got walk-up bar seating at Lamplight for brunch.
Good move.
My one last bite was definitely the avocado toast with steak. So good. And the bartender, shout out to Amanda, even combined 2 of the cocktails I was torn between by substituting the Kahlua in their abstract thought cocktail with rum chata, which is present in the cinnamon toast cocktail, and even topping it with cinnamon toast. CTC, she knows. She knows, dude, as a garnish. They were very accommodating, and even though the price tag hurt at the end, it was worth it. We saw Grizzly River Run was only a 5-minute wait and hopped on to pledge our flesh to the bear. Thankfully, my back took the majority of the water since I was mostly leaning forward, and the weather was perfect to dry me off without getting too hot. Then we hopped to Disneyland and went directly to Savi's workshop for B's lightsaber shortly after noon. I was jazzed to see the experience in person, and I've been trying to avoid spoilers ever since it opened. B was the only red kyber crystal in the room, which he was smug about. There's only 2, so you know. The saber itself is a heavy metal that surprised me since I expected it to be plastic. Now the $237.04 price tag makes a little more sense. Not really, because it's like garbage pot metal.
Yeah.
It's pewter, but that's okay. It is very heavy, at least. We left after grabbing some black caps from Docking Bay 7, having enjoyed our morning. On Sunday, aka Father's Day, I signed my parents into the park for another few hours of magic. We started with the second story of the omnibus, which dropped us off at the hub, and then waited under 10 minutes for Astro Blasters. It was a bummer, though, because my blaster was broken. I scored 3,300 while my dad racked up 66,000. And on our picture, my score registered as 0.
I've been seeing that happen a lot, to tell you the truth.
Love the omnibus.
Yeah. It was a correction from Kimmy. We did finish the day with my mom's, like the mom trip, with Astro Blasters before the monorail. Because my Aunt Tama loves Astro Blasters. Astro Blasters is really great. It is.
It's fun.
It doesn't fit in Tomorrowland, and it's not worth a wait, but it's so fun.
Maybe my favorite thing as a local is because I like to go in and take photos late at night. So get there at like 9 or 10, go take some photos, and then once the Astro Blasters line dies down, just go around a couple times.
Nice.
Love that.
Yeah. It's a shame that the line is so long.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it
is that good. And you know what? People who have never been there, ride it for the first time, like, that was awesome. Like, yeah, it is, huh?
Speaking of things that are better at Disneyland than Disney World.
Oh, yeah. Another Poseidon Entertainment thing.
Oh, the blasters that you
He
can't
was like,
move.
that sucks.
Yeah.
But the Ant-Man one in Hong Kong, have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
It looks like it's going to be cool, but then nothing moves, and the theme is like rubble.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about web slingers then?
I don't like web slingers.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
yeah.
Me neither.
But
Okay.
then we did Midway Mania. Phenomenal. Not phenomenal.
Phenomenal might be strong, but yeah, I like it. It's fun.
It didn't replace anything.
No.
And I think that's probably why we don't hate it or anything.
Right. And it's
it was,
good.
It was the first one like that. So I love that ride because it's very fun.
Oh yeah, it's great. I have a great time on
Yeah.
it. Uh-huh.
But I love that it's in Tokyo because I don't have to do it there.
Right.
And everyone
it's
goes
huge.
there, right?
Yeah.
In
Themed
Woody's
to
mouth.
like Coney Island.
Yeah.
But yeah, here it gives me I play it here sometimes, and I get a blister because I hold the thing in between there.
Me
I
too.
do a little flick of the wrist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Pull
No.
down. You just
I
pull
do
down.
the paintball thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you got to use the wrist, not the fingers.
Huh.
Hold.
There's too much motion here. You just got to do the.
All right. Moving on. Then we waited 15 minutes for Star Tours, during which I was the rebel spy. Sat in the second 4 on the outer door row, 5th seat on Concourse D, and saw the Child and Mando give us their hollow spiel. Hearing majestic space whales made me laugh since I recall others talking about how un-Star Wars it sounded. Yes, like Laser Sword. They were right. For an early lunch, we grabbed corn dogs with mandarins at Stage Door Cafe and relaxed for a bit before heading to Jungle Cruise, which had a 15-minute wait. I didn't take my mom on Jungle Cruise. On the way to Park Hop, I grabbed a mango strawberry Dole Whip, which was a tad underwhelming, unfortunately. I want to like the Dole Whip, but I believe it to be overhyped. We crossed over to DCA around 12:30 to meet Anna and Elsa. My family knows a friend of theirs. So we went to say hello and also take advantage of the AC. This was the longest line we waited in at over 20 minutes. That's not bad. I mean, she knows it's not bad. Once we said hello and got pictures, I grabbed a Honey Buzz from Pim's and noticed their beaker changed its logo. Instead of saying Pim Technologies underneath the symbol, the new beaker only has a symbol and no words. I wonder why. I noticed this. I was like, something's missing because we drink out of them here when we do concoctions. And I was like, were there words here? And it's probably an international park thing.
Oh,
Like if they
buy
don't-
more in bulk.
Yeah, they just like, send them everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but okay. We walked along Buena Vista Street stores until my drink was gone and hopped once more over to Disneyland for the family tradition of ice cream at Gibson Girl Ice Cream Parlor. Man, doesn't that sound cool? Family traditions at Disneyland. We don't have that.
Yeah, me either.
I went with a cookies and cream and a waffle cone, which gets the honorary mention for one last bite. And people watched on a bench as we ate. Then we headed home around 2:30. I usually go to the parks by myself and feel a little stressy, go when I'm there. So it was a breath of fresh air to be forced to slow down and hang with my party, to go at their pace instead of my own. Thanks for reading, and happy Trammin.
Nice. What?
There's a white line through my own, even if I zoom in. You see it?
That's not here.
Oh, okay, it went away now.
Yeah.
That's a rendering thing, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Taylor H. I got really excited because I saw Blacked Out, and I'm like, whoa, what happened?
Let's go.
But he said, even though we are blacked out, we had a great time around the resort on Sunday evening. We parked at the Disneyland Hotel and walked up to Trader Sam's. It was like 78 degrees outside at 8 p.m., so we asked to be sat outside as the sun set. While waiting, we walked around the towers and checked out Palm Breeze Bar for the first time and had an all-around fun little exploration. When we were seated, we got the tiki... No, come on. It's not the tiki rum. We got the tiki rum and the hala kahiki, which were both so good. There was live Hawaiian music, the vibes were immaculate, drinks unbelievable, and the sun was setting and the temperature was tropical. Then everyone at the restaurant started looking up, pointing at the sky as one of those insane SpaceX rockets was lighting up the sky right over the Discovery Tower. What a night. After, we went through the new downtown Disney entrance and checked out the live band near the entrance. I gotta say, the new entrance is beautiful, and the whole experience walking in now sets a great tone. We got Salt and Straw and walked over to the entrance plaza to watch the fireworks. Then, just to feel like we got on a ride, we took the tram to the parking structures and took the walkway back to the hotel parking lot. It was such a fun romp through the resort and a great way to end a hot weekend. Thanks, guys, and have a great week. Sounds great.
That sounds amazing.
Fun. Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
So, you went to Tokyo. Anything you'd like to share? You shared a lot. You can share as much as you want. Any like standouts of the trip? Some like...
Yeah. Just a few.
Yeah, go ahead.
Melissa and I splurged and got a Tokyo Disney Resort vacation package because there was weird entry into Fantasy Springs. I'm not going to explain it here. If you're interested, go read my site. I got it covered.
Yeah.
But this gave us unlimited entry. And basically paid Fastpass to all of the rides as many times as we wanted. Melissa rode, because I took some photos late one night, but she rode Peter Pan, the new Peter Pan ride 9 times in one day. And I did a 5.
How does their unlimited Fastpass work? You book it or you
just through it's a special ticket through Fantasy Springs. So they basically give you a wristband. And then they scan your ticket, and then you're like, okay, go ahead. And it's just there was no one in their Lightning Lanes, Fast Pass line, whatever you want to call it. So we just walk on.
That's the way to do it.
Walk on the whole trip. Well, not the whole trip because we only did it one day, but the whole day. Like I did 20 rides that day without really trying.
And this is separate from the regular Priority Pass system?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one
Priority Pass is free.
It's Fastpass, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but they also have I think they call it Disney Premier Access, which is paid. So a few rides are paid, a few rides are just free Fastpass. But yeah, that day was incredible. I rode the Rapunzel ride like 4 times, the Peter Pan ride 5 times, the Frozen ride 3 times, and a whole bunch of other stuff too.
So if I'm doing a Tokyo Disney trip, a vacation package is a good idea? What?
On your first time, probably not, because you want to see other things. Like that's not getting you free Fast Pass to everywhere else. It's only getting you in Fantasy Springs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's very specific.
Okay.
If we talk about niches, like that was covering a very niche audience where it's like, man, I just want to make sure I experience this as much as I can. So no, I probably wouldn't recommend it if it was your first time, honestly. Okay. But we had an incredible time with it. And yeah, it was one of the best days. And there were a couple days in Tokyo Disneyland that were awesome too. We were standing in line to get in and met the person in front of us and the people behind us were both from California within like 2 hours of us.
Well,
and like we're very confused going in. And so we were like trying to give them pointers before they got in, and then they were like, "Can we just follow you?" So they followed us around for 3 hours, and we had a great time.
That's cool.
It was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, I feel like you'd meet the special kind of weirdo, right? It's okay. They're from California and like Disney, and they're here for the same reason as I am, as opposed to if you met a random person in Walt Disney World, they could be actual weirdos. Yeah. So it's like...
So as far as I can tell, there are 2 types of American tourists that go to Tokyo Disney Resort. It's one like us that's just like, oh yeah, it's an amazing theme park, and are just going to be so bought in. And then there's the other people that get told like, this is something you should do, and then they just show up, and they're like, oh no, what do I do? And usually it seems like they're blown away, but when they get there, they're pretty. It's pretty daunting.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't know that Disney Sea exists.
Yeah,
I've told people about it and showed them the volcano, just like that one shot, and they're like, huh?
I told them, the people by us, and they're like, no, we chose to go to Tokyo Disneyland instead of Disney Sea. I was like, oh, well, you'll have fun. and then what? Like, I think it was the wife was like, yeah, Disney Sea looked weird to me, and I was like, I just didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had. I mean, the whole trip was great. So I'm not going to recap the whole thing.
Any standout foods, maybe?
Do you want in the park or out? Because yes.
Okay, the
That's
absolute
ridiculous.
best food you can save for one last bite.
Okay.
But just any standout foods. That's fine. How long are we going to talk about food? I know, I'm kidding. Just go ahead then.
The frozen restaurant in Fantasy Springs was excellent. They had like pies, savory pies, and they were very good. There's another table service restaurant in Disney Sea called Ristorante di Canaletto, and they had pizza and pasta, very, very good. And then outside of the parks, those were probably the two standouts in the parks. Outside, the curry in Tokyo Disneyland or in Tokyo is amazing. Outside the parks, we went to a place called Ukiyo. So there's a whole bunch of restaurants in Tokyo, obviously, but there's a whole bunch of really well thought of high-end restaurants in Tokyo that are like $100 at least per plate at night that do these incredible lunch sets for half the price. So we went to do a 4-course lunch at Ukiyo, which was maybe the best meal I've ever had in my life, and ended up being like $35. But it was like $150.
What was it?
So there was just this salad to start.
That's his favorite thing. The starter
Salad.
It was
That's
so.
it.
I don't like radishes.
Mm-hmm.
These did not taste like radishes. They were like a little bit sweet, no bitterness at all, and it had this kind of sunflower seed dressing. It was very good. The second course was like a broth, kind of a slightly heavier broth, a little bit meaty, and then there was white fish on the bottom. I couldn't get what actual fish it was, but it was some sort of white fish. That was very good. And then the entree was a Wagyu beef kofta, which was very good, served with like fingerling potatoes and an aioli, and then mango ice cream for dessert. And
Nice.
yeah, it was amazing. We also ate at a sushi place that was opened in 1879.
Oh my god!
and had like an 11-piece nigiri, and again ended up being like $25. But it was amazing too. And
Okay,
did omakase sushi. Do you know what omakase is?
I always forget what it is.
It's like a continual course
Uh-huh.
meal. We did another sushi restaurant that was
What's your favorite fish on top of
a nigiri.
Yeah.
Probably fatty tuna.
Okay. I'm a salmon guy.
Salmon's good.
I like salmon like cooked.
Yeah.
But I'm not. They're way better fish than salmon when you're cooking
Sure.
fish. But I love how fatty the
Yeah.
salmon is. But you know what? Fatty tuna in Japan is probably way better than any fatty tuna. Like, I'm sure I could find fatty
Sure.
tuna. But like, you go to the average sushi place here that says fatty tuna, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not. So I feel like I'd like that because it's fatty. I want to just give a shout out to eel though.
Oh, eel's so good.
Yeah,
I
with,
love
with
eel.
eel sauce. Ooh,
Oh, man.
good stuff.
Eel would be my second choice.
Yeah.
I once went to, I think it was at Kabuki, and there was like bones in the eel, and they're like, "No, it comes like that." I'm like, "No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't." But yeah, shout out to eel. Shout out to eel.
Eel's so good.
Yeah, Rain, you gotta step it up, man.
With the fish,
The fish.
You don't like sushi?
I'm a very basic sushi guy.
Like, what do you mean? Like California roll?
I mean, yeah, but like I can do a dragon roll. I can do
yeah.
like a spicy tuna, but like,
Okay, spicy tuna is a start.
but like the sashimi or the nigiri,
I love that stuff.
I can't.
Japan might win you over.
It might.
It's better. Unless you're willing to pay a lot of money in LA, which it's very good. But
Dude, I haven't had. I only eat sushi with like my family because like I don't really know anyone who likes sushi, but Kayla Park likes sushi, and
she worked at that.
She's selling. It's for like sad reasons. She's celebrating her half birthday instead of like she wasn't able to celebrate her birthday in January, so. I'm like, I heard of this really good sushi place, Bluefin in Newport Beach. Like, we're going because no one else cares. I'm gonna eat so much salmon, dude. I will like eat sushi till I can't breathe because you only feel bad for a little bit, but you don't really feel bad later because you just ate a bunch of fish and rice. You know, it's not like if you go to a buffet and eat till you can't breathe.
It's a different story.
Bad time. Yeah. All right. Is that your We Have It So Good? Is there anything else?
No. That's good enough for me. That's good enough.
If that's good enough for you, it's good enough for me.
If you guys want to know more, read.
I'm going to read. I'm like, I like reading. No more videos, please. Rain, when did you go?
I went on Sunday.
Okay, so.
I went to Tokyo and Rain still has me beat. Like this story.
Right. I forgot about this. So let me tell my story real quick, and then I totally forgot about your story. Okay, so Friday, I think she knows I'm sharing this story. So Kimmy and I had a reservation for this upcoming Saturday. And then we got a Din Tai Fung reservation for Friday. And so she was going to modify the reservation to Friday. So I'm out with Kevin Autumn last Friday, and Kimmy's at home. And she modifies the reservation to the same day by accident, which I've almost done like 100 times because you just see Friday. It's right there. It's open. Usually same day is not open. And she wasn't able to go.
She took the L.
But that's her second L.
Oh.
I don't even remember what the first one was. But she's like, are you going to go? I'm like, I don't think so. I got home. I showered. Ready for bed. Like, but it would be really fun if I went. So I just went. I like didn't even prepare. Like I just like put on I put on a Trammin t-shirt and like some shorts. I'm like, it's not going to get cold enough Friday night. Hopped down. I already knew parking structures open. Went right through. They threw me in Chippendale. But like if you go down the wrong lane, you can just go in circles and there's no parking spot. So I had to drive down the wrong way to get to a spot. No one cared. Walked right onto the tram. No big deal. But I wanted that stupid s'mores popcorn. I'm like, you have to have a little nugget of a mission when you go to Disneyland late. Like, yeah, I'm going to walk around, but there's always something, right? Even if it's, I'm going to go and take pictures today. There's something to do. But I'm like, let me go talk to the ticket booth, see if they can cancel Kimmy's thing. And if I explain. And I go, and the lady was like, we can't cancel same day. However, if you get the email, you can come back. If you explain the circumstances and we look at your account, whatever, a manager may be able to forgive it as like a courtesy. They're not going to do it all the time, right? This isn't like some hack, right? Because I explained the story and whatever, and there were some other circumstances too.
Brandy got COVID on one day, and I called and said, hey, she tested positive today for COVID. Like, I don't think you guys would want her in the park. And they told me, well, that's what the strike's for.
Yeah.
So
they're like, maybe, we don't know, but like you can come by and ask. It's not a big deal. They go, but don't scan her in. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. There's no way. Like, so I go in, I see Fantasmic going off. I'm like, oh no. Cause this popcorn is at Haunted Mansion. So I just go, but I really had to pee. And I was like, well, I'm about to buy popcorn. I can't take that in the bathroom with me. So I go to the bathroom, blast through the finale of Fantasmic, and I'm walking, but it's going off, right? It's wild. I see the popcorn. The guy's taking the sign down. And I point at him. I do like the cool point, and he does the point, and I'm like, you still got that? And he looks at me. All right, we got it for you. So I go, there's like one little measly pile of popcorn. He's like going crafting the mix in, right? The cast member, there was 2 cast members there. While I was there, I like peeked behind the cart, and then the finale just like, and I see the finale, which is great. She was about to charge me $7.50. And she goes, no, wait, you're good. I think the guy told her, like, I'm giving him the cold popcorn from the bottom of the barrel. Like, leave it. So I got the free popcorn.
Nice.
Walked to Galaxy's Edge, walked around. Super busy. Wildly busy. Matterhorn single rider was out to the pathway.
Uh-oh.
And the line was all the way Friday. everything. Big Thunder was all the way out. Like I was like, ooh, I'm not getting on anything, I guess, because Haunted Mansion's closed, Splash is closed, whatever, right? And people would have been on Splash. It was 78 degrees or whatever.
Yeah.
Someone else wrote that, but I think that was the temperature. I'm like, that Matterhorn mug is out. And the mobile order was Thursday, and then it's available at Trader Sam's. Like, when do they close? 11:55. It was 11:40. Like, let me get on the monorail. And I bought a water because I didn't take water with me, and the popcorn was like deathly salty, which I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But I didn't pay for the popcorn, so I paid for the water. So get on the monorail, go to Trader Sam's. There's one group in front of me, literally just one group of like old people getting a drink at the window. And I'm like, Kelly was there, that one guy who's always there. Sometimes he wears a beanie. I'm like, you guys got the mugs? He goes, yeah, they're going fast though. And I'm like, 2, please. He goes, we're at a Dole Whip. Do you want anything else non-alcoholic? I'm like, I'll be back for another Dole Whip. Don't worry. So I got the 2 mugs. The 65 anniversary. It's the Abominable Snowman.
Cool.
Shout out to Frank Wells, R.I.P. He's on there. Or the Wells Expedition is. So grab those. What's cool is because I didn't get the Dole Whip, the little wooden stirrer was like clean, and he threw it in the bag for me. So yeah, and then I'm gonna give Kevin the other one because he's like, I need that mug. And yeah, there was no line, but they said the other bartender was like, they'll probably be gone in 1 or 2 days. And Kelly was like, dude, don't tell people that. Don't discourage them.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know. It could be, and it did last a little longer. It might still be there. They're out of the cups though. But I got that, and I went home. It was fun being there at night. And we'll talk about that next week in a fun topic that we're going to do. But Rain, take us away. I don't care how you got there. Tell us the story. Okay. Tell us what you want.
So we got a text on Saturday night. And it was just this weird, like, I didn't really know what was going on.
None of us did.
Yeah, I saw Matthew said...
Jeff texted me on the side. He goes, what's happening?
Did he really?
Who's going where?
Yeah. I texted you on the side too.
Yeah.
I said, what is going on? It was just the way that Matthew and Freddie, I think, were responding to each other. Just
Matthew was being silly, and it was not silly goose time.
Yeah. Long story short, I ended up inviting myself essentially to...
We were all previously invited.
Yes.
But didn't realize what was going on.
Yes. To a lunch Club 33 reservation with Freddie. Not kind of also realizing at the same time, I think he prefaced that it was going to be with Kevin.
Perjurer
of
Defunctland.
I didn't know who the fourth person was going to be.
I thought it was Anna, Freddie's wife. Yeah.
Me too. And, you know, I got my day started, whatever, got into the parks around like 10 o'clock. I waited for Freddie at the tram stop. And I saw Freddie walking by himself. I'm like, where's Anna? And he's like, she's not going to use a comp ticket today, is what he told me. She can.
Because
yeah.
Okay.
And this was the first time Freddie been back in a while. So
And
that was
Anna's been at Club 33 a few times.
Right. So yeah, Freddie and I are just hanging out. I'm like, you know, because of Defunctland's, I guess the nature of it, I don't know what the guy looks like. So we're waiting for somebody who I don't know who we're waiting for. And Freddie's like, oh, I've seen him. I've met him once. And he's like, I think I remember what he looks like.
It's wild.
Yeah, it was crazy because it's not like you can look it up, you know, so we're waiting. He starts, we see him. Well, I guess Freddie sees him and he's like, oh, that's Kevin. And I'm like, oh, what's up, man? You know, nice to meet you. Talked a little bit. I was like, oh, where are you guys coming from? And he's like, oh, we just came from Vegas. I was like, oh, cool. He's like, yeah, I shot a little bit of B-roll for the Deal or No Deal documentary I'm coming out with.
Which we know about. Rain's not spilling secrets.
Yeah. It's all over Twitter and stuff. And we started talking about Deal or No Deal Island. I'm like, I'm a big Survivor guy, you know, so it was pretty cool. I was just a lot of small talk, you know. I was like, are you on vacation? Like, you know, congrats on the video and stuff. And he's like, yeah, it's been crazy. I'm like, dude, you need to take the break. Like, I know you're always, I can tell the kind of person you are by your work. You're always working. And he's like, yeah, but it's crazy because I love my job. I love doing this. And he's like, I was working last night and it doesn't feel like work. I was like, that's really cool, man. Like, I respect that so much. Didn't mention Jack was also there, the mysterious fourth person who I had no idea. Freddie was like, oh, it's Kevin's traveling companion. I was like, okay. All right. So I'll get to who Jack is in a little bit. But we finally got called into the club. Really cool to do the whole doorbell thing. Freddie told Kevin, hey, you want to do the honors? And he's like, sure. He did it when, we're here for I don't think I can say how we got in. There's a person. The little waiting room is insane already. Like for Club 33, there's 4 people on the other side of that wall where the door is. There's just 4 people at all times, 2 desks right here, and one person in the middle. And it was cool going into, what's the courtyard called?
Court of Angels.
Court of Angels. Cool going in there again. I didn't take one picture. It was just one of those things for me where I was like, I don't know. I just wanted to be in the moment. It was to the point where Kevin was like, you want to take a pic? And I was like, as much as I do, I'm not going to be the guy responsible for the face reveal.
And you're going to do it by accident?
Yeah. And he's like, I really appreciate that, man. And I was like, yeah, no problem. But we went up into the club, saw all the merch on the side. Freddie kept telling us he wants to go to the lounge. The lounge looks so cool. Like it looks like an old like 1950s like derby kind of area. It's all leather. It's all brown. It's cool. We went into the main dining hall and we were like the first people in there. So it was kind of not eerie, but pretty cool. We saw a harpsichord that was an original antique piece that Walt Disney bought. And Lillian thought it looked ugly, so they put a mural on it, and it hasn't been touched since. It's ridiculous stuff that's in there. We sat down, and it's a 5-course meal. It was $130. I didn't even take a picture of the menu or any of the food. But it was, I ended up ordering.
There's some nice ladies that just posted a bunch of stuff. You're allowed to if you're like not being crazy about it.
Yeah.
You can't take videos, though.
No videos at all?
And no videos, no boomerangs, and
no live photos.
Yeah. Well,
that's what he said.
No photos of guests.
Other guests.
Yeah.
Other guests.
So like you can respectfully take a picture of the menu and your food and stuff.
Yeah. It also felt weirder being with the person who's not public as themselves.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. I ended up starting with like this shrimp plate that was very good. It's like 3 shrimps and like some potato stuff. I don't know what it was. Kevin, Freddie, and myself all got this thing called the diligently selected cheeses.
Okay.
And we were just laughing the rest of the day being like, it's diligently selected, Great cheese. Great cheese.
Selected well.
Yeah, selected well.
Diligently.
And it was like the waiter, which were like the nicest people ever. It was to the point where the waiters were like, hey, the family why we were there? He was like, I've known them for 20 years. Like they're very, very personal. We got the cheese. I got the New York steak and salad, but it says New York steak salad. I was like, okay, I'll get the salad, but it was more like a steak and a salad.
Good.
Yeah.
You don't
Even
put the
better.
steak in the salad. Yeah.
Melted in my mouth. It was insane how good the food was. And then is that 3? That's 3 things, huh?
Cheese,
Shrimp, steak.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then maybe it's just 4-course.
Probably.
Yeah. And then it was like a chocolate cake at the end.
Good.
Very good. All very good. All the food was
Portillo's
phenomenal.
level?
What was it?
Portillo's level?
No.
Seriously?
Seriously.
The cake.
Yeah.
The food, though.
The steak was some of the best steak I've ever had.
Yeah.
It awesome.
Okay. It's a good pull, Andrew.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
All right. We have a baseline now. Okay.
Yeah. Conversation was very good. Like, I didn't want to. I'm a huge Defunctland fan.
You fanboy over things.
I do. And I didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I didn't, like I told you, I didn't even mention the podcast until like an hour into talking to the guy. I was just talking to Kevin like I would talk to a customer. More like, oh, where are you coming from? Where are you from? Like that kind of stuff.
Getting to know someone.
Getting to know somebody. Yeah. And I just realized he's just a really cool guy. Like, and I think that's really cool. I know it's always like, don't meet, I'm not saying Kevin's my hero, but don't meet your heroes. Like, because then you're not going to like their content or whatever. He's one of us, which is kind of cool. He's very passionate about what he does. He likes the weirdest things. And I was telling him, I'm like, look, man, I've been trying to talk to you, to Kirk, about getting you on the show for years now. And Kirk has always said, we need to get him on something weird. Like something so weird that's the Funkland level. And we talk about that. And I don't know if we've ever found it. But Matthew tells me you really like DCA 1.0. And he looked at me and said, I will talk about DCA 1.0 whenever you want. And then he went on a rant about schmoozies. I can't believe schmoozies is still here. It's the coolest thing ever. Like, it was insane. I'm like, dude, you can walk over right now and go to schmoozy if you want. He's like, I know, it's crazy. So, it was really cool. He's got a lot of insight, knows a lot of people, has a lot of, we were talking a lot about Splash. About he wrote it, and
the Tiana's.
The Tiana's,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, sorry, yeah. He wrote Tiana's. He is like almost like legit upset, not upset about Splash, but about Tiana's. But he's just like everyone else. It's really barren. Like he's getting that kind of vibe, and he's like, I cannot wait for the Disneyland one to open because it should match the same energy as the Disneyland one used to.
Yeah, because it's the same ride.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Like the pacing was really good and stuff. But anyways, very good guy. I couldn't have asked for a better conversation. Like we were just hitting each other on very personal levels. Like when he was like, hey, I hear you make some cool inflatables. And I was like, what? Like you know who I am? You know, like it's crazy. And I didn't act like that, you know, but like,
yeah. What about the Trammin pool? I thought that was hilarious.
Oh yeah. When I told him like, oh yeah, me and my buddy have a podcast. It's like, oh, what's it called? And I was like, oh, Trammin. It's like, oh, I've seen you guys around. It's like, really? I literally said like, really? And he's like, yeah, you guys did a reaction to the Disney Channel theme.
That was the one where we talked about being documentarian and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, that was great. And I was like, this guy knows who he is. You know, it's cool. It was really cool. What else? What else did we talk about? He asked me about tacos. He's like, he's a taco connoisseur. And I was like,
we'll see about that.
Yeah. And I was like, you got to go to this place and this place. Cause I was like, you know, you can get tacos in Disneyland, but you're probably going to have better tacos right outside Disneyland on the corner. So, but you should go to this place. I recommended Tacos Los Cholos. Told him about Strongwater. I was like, dude, we got to go to Strongwater. You know, I don't know. I think he's like Matthew, more of a mocktail guy.
Yes, because Matthew brought it up.
Yeah.
He brought it up on the show the first time we had him on for the Halix thing.
That's right.
Because we enjoyed some virgin pina coladas at Trader Sam's.
And I know that because he didn't order anything. I clipped everything. I was like, okay. And I was like, we go to Strongwater. Food is really good. And he's like, I'm there. So, yeah, it was cool. I had a really good time. I told Freddie, like, look, man, that was it's essentially a once in a lifetime experience. A lot of people don't get to do that thing. So, the service was amazing. The food was amazing. One of the waiters was telling us that he just came back from the club in Tokyo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that in order to get in there, you have to be tenured like 20 years in another club. What? It's like the exclusivity level is like ridiculous.
You got to get on it.
Yeah. And he said it was the waiter told us it was the best dining experience he's ever had. And it was the Tokyo one. Trying to think what I'm missing here.
What did you drink there?
Oh, I had the Matterhorn Mai Tai. Yeah, and I got the glass and I took it home because I got the Royal Hawaiian glass. I'm like, maybe this is a thing now. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Tiki glass is a lot easier than tiki mugs.
Exactly. I'm trying to see what I'm missing. So when we were leaving, I'll get to the merch right now. When we were leaving, Kevin and Jack were like, oh, we're going to change into our theme park clothes. I was like,
oh, right, because there's like formal.
It's like collared shirt, but with shorts.
Shorts are cool. For lunch.
Me and Kevin both went to the restroom and we were walking back and I was like, dude, what the heck, you wearing Vans? Like it's just, I don't know if you can do an all day thing Vans.
You know, okay. I was like, why is it weird that he's wearing Vans?
He looked at me and was like, it's the worst decision I made on this whole trip is wearing these shoes. He's like, I'm going to Target right after this and buying something else and putting some Dr. Scholl's in there.
Super feet.
He's like, I can't justify spending more than $30 on shoes, you know, but yeah. Cool. It was really cool. When we were waiting for Kevin to come out from the restroom because he was changing, I was talking to Jack and I was like, hey, so you help Kevin on videos or like where are you at in the relationship here? And he's like, well, I help him a little bit, you know, you'll see me credit a little bit, but I do my own thing. I was like, oh, what's your channel? They're like, well, what do you do? And he's like, YouTube. And I asked, what's his channel? He said, oh, I'm theme park history. Or Epcot, keep Epcot weird. And I'm like, dude, I've been watching your stuff also for years. And it's a whole thing. He just came out with the smoke shop video about the smoke shop that was originally on Main Street, like a 25-minute video. Very good video. He's in the millions at this point too in views. So it really cool. I guess the YouTube community is pretty tight knit, you know, because they've been friends for a long time. That's what it sounded like. So while we're here, I got something for the set. Okay.
That's a nice bag.
That's why it's a beautiful bag.
Great bag.
Yeah, even the wrapping, you know,
Yeah,
the
you don't
paper and
re-gift
stuff.
that bag. That's
No.
Dude, they went all in on the Matterhorn.
They
stuff.
went all in. The Court of
decor,
Angels was all themed to that. So we were looking at the merch, and I was like, there's some cool stuff, like hats and stuff. But this was the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen at a Disney park. Have you seen this Matterhorn merch at all? The Club 33 stuff?
Maybe not. Maybe like one thing.
This was $40. Okay, no discount. But I had to have it, and I had to have it for the set. I don't even know if you can tell what this is yet. It's a cowbell. A Matterhorn themed bell.
It's got a thing in it.
There it is.
It's amazing.
What is it?
I don't know. It was in Club 33 on a rack.
Wait, does that go like on a goat?
I don't know.
That's what it looks like. It looks like the
Oh, that's a receipt, no?
It's a cowbell. Okay.
Yeah, cowbell. That guy said cowbell.
Okay.
It's a cowbell. So I was like, oh, this is weird enough to put on the set and different. I don't know. It was cool. It has the 33 stuff on it, and yeah, really cool stuff.
All right.
It's fantastic.
And then I'm near the end here, but after Club 33, Kevin and Jack had it's weird. Kevin and Jack had a lightning lane for Indiana Jones, so we were like, oh, we'll walk you over, Freddie and I. We'll take off. As soon as we walk up to Indiana Jones, they're walking in, and they're like, oh, ride closed down. And Kevin looked and was like, oh, man, are you serious? And he's like, you guys want to go on a ride? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm down. And I was like, there's Jungle Cruise right here. He's like, oh, yeah, we can do Jungle Cruise. I've never been on it. I was like, taking the Funkland on the Jungle Cruise? You know, that's, woo, all right.
Where you been, man?
Yeah. And Freddie's like, oh, I'm out. He's like, I'm not going to bake in the sun. I was like, all right, cool.
All
bro.
right.
See ya. So, yeah, me, Kevin, and Jack went on the Jungle Cruise. And toward the end, Kevin looks at me and he's like, dude, why didn't you tell me this thing sucks? And I was like,
Matthew has said something like this too.
the Walt Disney one, whoa, what the heck?
That's the phone. It's
Oh,
all right.
it's weird. The Walt Disney World one, I would say is different. I don't know if it's better. It's longer and it has different sections that we don't have. But yeah, he was just like,
Oh my God.
and my face was just like,
Don't meet your heroes, right?
yeah, I don't know.
It's better at night, I swear.
Yeah. And I was like, the Jingle Cruise was good. So yeah. And then we were walking, just chit-chatting, and I was like, he's like, you going to D23? I was like, probably not, you know, but if you're around, come to the wedding. So yeah, he should be on the show.
It's like weeks before the wedding, dude.
It's August 8th.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I don't know. But he told me, and Jack both said, if you ever want us on the show, let us know, either together or separate, whatever works for you guys. And I was like, I will definitely let you know. So Kevin Perger, and I don't know Jack's last name. He says it in his videos.
Okay. So
But we'll find him.
Yeah.
I tried finding Jack on Twitter and stuff, but none of his accounts are active. So like they're like last posted in like 2022.
Living the dream. Living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream. So very nice people. I'm excited to have them on. I'm excited to talk DCA 1.0, Kevin. He said he would love to talk hours about Eureka.
The parade?
The parade.
He doesn't know that like Kimmy and I's dream costume is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah. So that's weird.
You know what though? I have the episode title.
Okay.
It's not the 1.0,
2.0.
'cause people are gonna get confused.
Yeah.
It's if he's listening out there, it's only in DCA 1.0. It's like you can only do this here.
Yeah.
This is how weird it is.
Yeah.
And we'll get weird, right? We'll get Whoopi Goldberg is gonna be on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Rain.
No, it was
that sounds great.
It was really cool.
What a
I did talk about. I was like, hey, dude, how did the A and B test go? I don't know if you saw this. His thumbnail, he A and B tested 2 thumbnails for the new Kid Cities video. One of them had a cop and a fireman.
Oh, I noticed that.
And one of them had a surgeon and a firefighter. And he's like, dude, the cop one did so well. I just thought it was funny. Yeah, had a really good time. I appreciated it. I told Freddie, like, dude, seriously, thank you. That was a really cool experience. So, yeah, we'll see Kevin Perger around, especially on the show. Not his face. I don't know how we'll do it.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, just a straight Brad Pitt thing.
Most people don't watch anyway.
Yeah.
But shout out YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great, man.
Yeah. had a
Happy
good time.
for you.
Yeah. Incredible.
And then you went to Din Tai Fung on Monday. But
Oh, yeah, it was just Din Tai Fung.
we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
It's going to fit into the topic, I promise. So, Rain, what time is it?
It's
Pizza time.
It's time for one last bite. Andrew, as always, what is the best thing you tasted this week? The one thing.
In honor of that soundbite, I'm going pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah. Misconception about Tokyo, at least that a lot of Americans have. They have great food, all kinds. We went to a place called Seirinkin or Seirinkin. It's Seirinkin. It's in Shibuya, or just kind of outside of Shibuya in Tokyo, and Neapolitan pizza. And it was the best pizza I've ever had. That restaurant's featured in a Dave Chang Ugly Delicious episode on Netflix.
I probably saw that.
Yeah, and it was amazing. Blew my mind. I had a margarita pizza, the dough, sauce, cheese, everything was outstanding. Best
Wow.
thing I've ever had. And yeah,
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Never would have thought.
Yeah, me either.
tons of great pizza. Apparently, like chefs grow up in Japan and then will always go to the country that they are most interested. Not always, I shouldn't say always, but will go to the country they're most interested in their culinary, and then we'll come back a lot of the times and then open restaurants in Tokyo.
Huh.
So
That's
they
cool.
They study where they are meant to.
Awesome. Right?
That steak salad.
Steak and salad.
Steak and salad, yeah. It was like a lemon vinaigrette dressing, just like a straight New York, cooked perfectly medium, and just melted in my mouth. Great.
Nice. I had delicious brisket. Kev's brisket was better than mine. I'll give that the number one. The honorable mention, though, the Arizona hard green tea. What is up with that stuff? Have you had that?
It's delicious.
It's dude.
good.
That's how alcoholism starts. I can't buy those anymore. It goes down. It's so smooth
Yeah.
because it's an Arizona green tea.
What alcohol is in it?
It's
dude?
like a seltzer. No, but it's just
vodka.
hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's vodka. It's always vodka.
It was so good. The sweet tea was also pretty good.
Okay.
I had a Blast of Baja seltzer, but that wasn't Arizona. Not as good. I have a Mucho Mango left, but that's called a cowboy cocktail. I don't know what that is. But yeah, that green tea.
I'll try that.
Dude, it's a 600, it's a 1 pint, huge 1 pint.
That is dangerous.
Yeah, and it's 5%, but it's a pint,
Yep.
and you just down it. Like it's so good. So shout out.
Just any grocery store? Is that just any grocery store? Where'd you
I
find
got it at the Cellar in Whittier, but
Okay.
it's like they have beer on tap and wine on tap, and then they sell alcohol. So
Okay.
like Bevmo will probably have
Yeah.
it. Total Wine for sure.
Sure.
Shout out Total Wine.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, Total Wine's great.
Yeah. So finally, what is your one next bite? Next thing you want to taste inside of a Disney park?
I mean, I'll join the club. I have a Din Tai Fung reservation in like a week and a half. I'm going with that one.
Do you have you been there at all?
So in Seattle, they had Din Tai Fung at the baseball stadium.
Oh.
And so I've had the soup dumplings and fried rice from Din Tai Fung.
Have you had the rice cake things?
I have not.
Okay, they're like these little cakes of rice that are like pasta,
Oh, okay.
and it's just carbs.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
But
If when you go, highly recommend the fried rice with the pork cutlet on top.
Ooh, okay.
I was gonna get the one with the pork mix in.
Yeah.
And the waiter's like, "Get the cutlet." I said, "Run it." Delicious.
Deal.
I'll probably eat an entire thing of the crab and pork because Kimmy doesn't like crab. So
Oh, there's crab in the regular one
it's a crab pork.
mix.
Yeah, and
I think it's insane.
Love
dude.
crab.
so
Crab's
Dude,
like
we-
my favorite food.
We got one for each one of us. So it was one for
they're
me.
so tiny.
Yeah,
Pop, you know?
10 easy,
Yeah,
easy.
Adds up in a few different ways. Yeah.
yeah. I'll probably. Yeah, I'll go with that. I am going to the parks, but there's like, what's going on? The Pixar, it's over. It's over.
It's over.
So yeah, I'll go with the Xiaolongbao, the pork and crab. What about you? You already went. So
Yeah, I also recommend the DTF old fashioned.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't like themed old fashioned.
it's a standard old fashioned with lychee bitters.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Very good.
We'll
Very
see.
good. I think their limited menu might have been the drinks because there's only 5.
Whatever. I'm not gonna have more than 5 drinks.
I know.
I'm not gonna have more than 2 drinks.
Yeah. What's my next bite? I don't know. You know what? I want to go back for Happy Ice. The food truck.
Oh,
Yeah. Really good shaved ice. Even though I go to Joe's Italian Ice all the time. This one's really good.
Where do they put them right now?
Just smack dab in the middle.
where the stage used to be.
Yeah. Smack dab in the middle.
Oh, it's like a
Clear the
half.
walkway. So
It's
they
like a
do-
half food truck, like
Okay.
you know the
All
little
right.
baby ones.
Yeah.
that they sell
Yeah,
coffee out of usually.
Okay.
Yeah. I also had the ice cream at Salt and Straw. They're almost out of all the beer flavors except the bourbon barrel aged stout. It's like a tres leches cake thing.
Mm.
Oh, dude, insane. So Salt and Straw, man.
Cool.
So
Cool. So Andrew, wandering in Disney. Thank you for being here. I don't think we mentioned we've been on your show.
You have.
So-
My show doesn't. I mean, it's still up.
It's still there,
It doesn't
so-
really exist. But
That
like,
was a fun episode, though.
that was a lot of fun.
So-
yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, that was. I distinctly remember emailing you, being like, "We're not blowing you off. We've been busy, and then we're gonna nail down a date." And then we did the show like
Yep.
a week later. So
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
that was the July of collabs where we were on we were on his show, we were on Nice
then-
Losa's show,
yeah, and then is that the month I went with Nick Valero?
maybe,
The
and
nerds?
then we had
Keeping Up with the
someone
Nerds?
on, maybe Freddie for something.
Yeah, probably.
yeah. So
The month of collabs is gonna come up again.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
yes, it is. August.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm taking the month off.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, sure.
Are you editing? You don't have to. I'm just asking.
I would prefer not to.
Okay.
So
All right. So I will record on Mondays in August because I can't. I can't do it.
yeah, the B2B,
Yeah, it's
not
too
fun.
much, and the guests are gonna be the
the boys.
boys, the
Yeah.
talkers, dude.
Yeah.
So and possibly more than one at a time.
I'm hoping we can line it up where I have the Defunctland episode at the end of July.
Oh,
Right.
you're like we're doing that
Mhm.
like now? Okay.
All right. Well, if you sponsor me,
Oh,
yeah, I sent him an email today.
all right. I guess
Yeah.
I'll start writing that.
Well, if I said it, can you do it in July? And if you can't do it in July, then cool. Then we'll start writing. But
All right. Okay. Month of.
keep it while it's hot. You know,
Huh?
keep the relationship going. You know?
All right. All right. All right. I guess I'll start writing that. We're not going to talk about Defunctland, just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
Like we're not. That was always the plan.
Yeah.
Where I'm not going to be like, so Kevin, where'd you start Defunctland? It's like because it's awesome. Like
His best, I think, feature on somebody else's was that one guy who's really popular on YouTube right now, Adam something.
Conover.
That guy. Where the best thing is, he's like, "Who are the Wiggles?"
Yeah.
And that's when Kevin was like, "Who are the Wiggles?"
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll have him on.
Yeah, it should be
fun. So don't send in your Defunctland questions. I'll probably, because I haven't met him, I'll be like, listen, dude, I love Defunctland,
Mm-hmm.
but we're here to talk about DCA. Let's go. So yeah. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It was awesome to just listen about Tokyo Disney, to tell you the truth.
I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, please.
Love being on your show. Love that you guys are just able to say, I mean, you guys state your opinions, and I appreciate that. I like listening
look,
to you guys.
no one's paying us, and no one's giving us access, so whatever. I don't
We
care.
pay for this.
I completely understand.
Yeah. So wanderingindisney.com, at Wandering Disney on Instagram.
Yep.
That's
Those are the main things.
Flickr. You
I
come
have-
up on Flickr, but
I
go to
do?
the
Okay.
go to the website, right?
Sure. Yeah. Go to the website. Like Kirk said, I had a podcast at some point. There might be something coming up on that feed in the near future, but yeah, mainly the website and Instagram. So
Yeah.
Cool.
Go.
Thank you, guys.
Go read, guys. Read. And if you're thinking about Tokyo, he's one of us. So look
send
for
me
his advice.
emails.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be happy to answer.
So yeah, thank you again. So Rain, with that,
Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week.
see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit to the Disneyland Resort. Please lower your head, watch your step, and exit to the driver's right-hand side only.